affiliation with the Toronto Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays and the Yankees, division rivals, finished with the same record. John Schneider feeling very good about his team's chances.
Vlad launches one, left field and deep, looking up at the wall, it's out of here!
Vlad Guerrero Jr. homers in his first at-bat of the postseason.
Trey Savage punches out Aaron Judge.
He got another one, 9 strikeouts.
11 in 5 hitless innings for Trey Savage.
Let's go Toronto!
Boy, would a base hit be huge right here.
And there it is!
Huge 2-run single for Nathan Lucas.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. They down the Yankees in their own yard.
They have knocked off the New York Yankees. It's a little bit warmer here in Florida today. Another day and another ball game here in Dunedin. Division rivals collide. The New York Yankees have made the short trip from Tampa here to TD Ballpark, with the Blue Jays hosting them here this afternoon. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Dunedin. Dan Schulman and Caleb Joseph. We are so glad you're with us today, and everybody really keeping an eye on one of the most important players, Caleb, the Blue Jays have. If Dalton Varsho can stay healthy, he can be an incredibly productive guy.
20 home runs in 71 games last year for Varsho. We know the defense is going to be there, but how did he do that? How did he have such a great ratio with the bat? It's with a simple approach. He said he's trying to hit a ground ball back to the pitcher. What? Are you serious? A ground ball back to the pitcher? He said, I don't have a problem elevating the baseball. I've got to work behind it. And what you're seeing right here is when he works behind it, he's got that effortless power. He's got great plate discipline. We know that he's going to be an all-star in terms of glove caliber type defense. Will he be able to put it all together this year in his free agent year? His value and what he signs for next year, hopefully as a Toronto Blue Jay, might be mainly based off of his offense. If he can take that same approach, a ground ball back to the pitcher, get behind the baseball, he could have a huge year for the Toronto Blue Jays.
And, of course, he anchors things defensively in center field, but the Blue Jays have a new outfielder, a lot of power, figures to see a lot of time in the corners. Jesus Sanchez. With more on him, here's Hazel.
Dan, thank you very much. Yes, Blue Jays fans will get their first look at Sanchez, who is set to make his TD Ballpark debut this afternoon. Of course, if you remember, Sanchez was acquired from the Astros for Joey Loperfido, and to say he is excited to be with this team is an understatement. The 28-year-old is very grateful to be joining what he described was a very competitive organization, and one he is well aware has had tremendous amount of interest in him for quite some time. I've worked very hard for this moment, he said, and I am ready. So what can we expect from Sanchez? John Schneider knows he has power and can hit the ball extremely hard. What Schneider doesn't want to see is for Sanchez to manipulate the bat. They already have guys like Clement and Straw and Lucas, just to name a few, that can do that. Quote, we want him to hit the ball hard. That was our message. Well, Dan, let's see if we can watch Sanchez execute that game plan later this afternoon. Guys?
Hazel, thank you so much. So we will see Dalton Varsho. We will see Jesus Sanchez. You will also see Miles Straw and Davis Schneider. Grant Rogers over from the minor league camp will be the starter today against a pretty big lineup for the New York Yankees. They have brought a lot of their regulars, including the 3-time MVP Aaron Judge. Spring training baseball is next.
Emotional giveaways of your most beloved baseball team in a once-in-a-lifetime.
Welcome to Toronto Blue Jays baseball, presented by Home Hardware, locally owned and genuinely Canadian. And welcome back to TD Ballpark here in Dunedin. Again, a little bit warmer, not as much wind, not nearly as much wind as yesterday. All in all, a very pleasant day for a baseball game. And yeah, it's just spring, but Caleb, it's still the Yankees and the Blue Jays, so that feels kind of fun as we set the lineup for the visitors. The Yankees, and as mentioned, stretch, and they have brought a lot of their regulars, including Aaron Judge, who had another monster season a year ago. Grisham, Bellinger, Chisholm, Goldschmidt, Wells, Rosario Caballero. Really the only minor leaguer is an infielder, Marco Luciano, who is the DH and batting ninth for the Yankees today. And from the Blue Jays minor league complex, big right-hander Grant Rogers will get the start here this afternoon.
Yeah, the 6'7" righty, an 11th round pick in 2023 from McNeese State in Louisiana. Spent 2025 in high A and double A, 150 and a third innings pitched, 115 strikeouts. He's a ground ball artist, but big frame. Went back to that sinker slider, working in the split combo. He's going to try and induce early contact and go deep into this game.
The regular, or the expected regular starting pitchers for the Blue Jays are coming in the next few days. This is just one day in the schedule where John Schneider and company are dipping into the minor league system, and we are nicely underway here in Dunedin with the first pitch fastball coming in high from Rogers. Trent Grisham, the center fielder for the Yankees, who accepted a qualifying offer in the offseason, and right
called a strike. The batter is challenging.
And right out of the chute, we got a challenge. 2 pitches in, the pitch was called a strike, and Trent Grisham, this is the new ABS, automatic balls and strikes challenge system.
Returned. The pitch is a ball. New York has 2 challenges remaining.
And Grisham was correct. So instead of 1-1, Caleb, it's 2-0, but the Yankees retain both of their challenges.
I actually like this. I really do. I didn't know if I was going to like it from the get-go, but I'm more interested to see who's actually really good at telling balls and strikes and who isn't. And obviously Grisham got that one correct.
Do you think that, like, within a year or maybe even less, we'll be able to go on Baseball Reference or any baseball site and look up a player's, correct and incorrect percentage when it comes to challenges?
I guarantee it. We're measuring everything in baseball nowadays.
There's a strike, no doubt about that one. 3-1 on Grisham, who launched 34 home runs a season ago for the Yankees. This Yankee team led the major leagues in runs scored last year. And Grisham's got himself a base hit into right center. Miles Straw over to cut it off and hold him to a single. And that'll bring up Aaron Judge. And you can hear there are a good number of Yankee fans here. Again, Tampa's only about 30 minutes from Dunedin. Judge, one of the many Yankees who will be leaving for the World Baseball Classic within a few days. He is the captain of Team USA. Whoa, and a breaking ball gets him in the pocket. Got him in the wallet. No damage done. But that one obviously slipping out of the hands of Grant Rogers, and the Yankees have the first 2 men on.
Yeah, you can tell there's a little bit of early nerves for Rogers, and why wouldn't there be? It's over at the minor league complex, and then blinks, and he's facing Aaron Judge, and that's just a breaking ball that slips out of the hand. A lot of times in these early part of spring, a little dry, you might lose the grip of the baseball a little bit. Obviously no intention there. He's just trying to get ahead, but good thing it hit him where there's a lot of padding.
Yeah. So 2 on, nobody out, and here's Cody Bellinger. And Bellinger was one of the biggest offseason topics for the Yankees. There's not a whole lot of turnover on this team, but one thing they did do was re-sign Bellinger, who, as you can see, had a very nice year for them a season ago. That is a fair ball inside the line and out into right field. In to score is Grisham. Judge will come around to third. It's an RBI single for Bellinger, and the Yankees are out to an early 1-0 lead.
Yeah, this ball off the bat of Bellinger just kind of scoots inside the line there. He's probably getting the type of contact he wants. Grant Rogers, that is. Watch this ball in the outer half. He gets it off the end, trying to elevate it, gets over the baseball, creating that kind of top spin. And as you're going to see right here, Terada just can't get to it, and it's going to rattle around. He's inducing some early contact. It's been on the ground, and that's his specialty. See if he can get a 2-ball right here to kind of settle into this outing.
The batter is Jazz Chisholm Jr., and he's got himself a base hit. The Yankees are not taking any time right now. Judge is in to score. Bellinger up to second, and it's 2-0.
It's one of those instances where you've got a veteran team that's really ambushing and jumping a youngster out on the mound. I love the fact that he's in the zone. Right around now is right when you might want to take a visit, go out there. We see Valenzuela is going to make a visit out there to talk to Rogers, and you love that he's in the zone, and that's the one thing you kind of look for as an evaluator with a young pitcher against a veteran team. Are they going to be scared out of the zone? You love that he's in the zone, but now as a catcher might be when you start moving a little bit more towards the edges, knowing they're really aggressive. Maybe let's start working a little bit more strike to ball type pitches and see if you can induce some weak contact. But he's got another wily veteran at the plate right now in Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, it doesn't get much easier. John Schneider looking on. Part of this may be, again, you sometimes want to, not show one of your regular guys to a division rival. So if you're going to pick a day where somebody comes from the minor league complex, it could be today. Doesn't make the assignment any easier, obviously, for Rogers. Still looking for his first out of the afternoon. And facing a former MVP in Paul Goldschmidt, who obviously is towards the latter stages of his career right now. Re-signed a one-year deal with the Yankees. He was a free agent. Ground ball to short, and they've got a chance to turn two here, and they will. And that, Caleb, will probably settle Rogers down a little bit.
Number one rally killer in baseball, in my opinion, is the double play. And he gets it off the bat of Goldschmidt. You can see it's a well-executed pitch kind of towards the bottom of the zone. He gets Goldschmidt to roll over. And I love the internal timing of the middle infield of the Toronto Blue Jays here. Knowing Goldschmidt isn't really bearing down, let's go ahead and secure one and then the second out on the back end.
That was Ben Cowles at short. Leo Jimenez, a familiar face and name to Blue Jays fans, getting the start at second base today as Yankee catcher Austin Wells steps in. Didn't hit for much of an average last year, but like just about every player that Aaron Boone can throw out there on a daily basis, he's got power. Wells going to the World Baseball Classic. He will represent the Dominican Republic. Between these two teams, they've got 24 players playing for various countries in the WBC. Some of those include minor league players, as that breaking ball misses just low for ball one. Runner at third, two down. And the 1-2 is grounded to the right side. Leo Jimenez has it. And that'll be that for the Yankees. They get a couple of early runs, but then Grant Rogers settles down, and the Blue Jays will be coming up in the bottom of the first when we come back. At TD Ballpark, they are down 2-0 to the Yankees. A very nice crowd. Again, a lot of Yankee fans here. This ballpark is basically full here this afternoon. Let's show you the lineup for John Schneider here today. We've already talked about Dalton Varsho. He's hitting in the 2 spot. You know Miles Straw. Hazel told you about Jesus Sanchez, Davis Schneider, Leo Jimenez, and then some interesting players from the minor league side, including Brandon Valenzuela and Josh Kasevich, both getting starts here today. And they will get a look at a guy who was a regular in the Yankee rotation last year. Will Warren made 33 starts a season ago for the Yankees.
Over 162 innings pitched, 171 strikeouts. He is prone to the long ball. Gave up 22 of those during the 2025 campaign. It's going to be a heavy fastball type of arsenal for Warren. 40% of his pitches are four seams. He's going to use that sinker about 20 times, 20% of the time, and then he will add in that sweeper.
Leadoff man today for the Blue Jays, Miles Straw, getting a start in right field. And what an important guy Miles Straw turned out to be last year. You can see that he appeared in 137 games. This one flared down the right field line, and unable to make the catch is Goldschmidt. Tried to make an over-the-shoulder basket catch, just could not come up with it cleanly.
9 times out of 10, I guarantee you he catches that ball. I know it's a tough play. I know he's going backwards, but he is about as sure-handed as it gets over there at first base. As you're going to see, he's got a beat on it, and it just clanks right off the heel of the glove. Overran it just a little bit. You love those as a batter. Oh, you're going, oh, I got a free chance, and if I can, I know it's 0-2, but just give me another crack at it.
That's your get out of jail free card.
100%.
Couple of strikes on Straw. Swing and a miss, so it took one more pitch, but Warren gets him with a high fastball.
And then you're thinking, well, maybe a little fly out's better than a punch out. Maybe he should have caught it.
Now Dalton Varsho. as Caleb told you off the top of the show, only appeared in 71 games last year. A healthy Varsho appears in at least double that. And that's not to say that he would hit 40 home runs on the season, but, you know, I'm sure Blue Jay hitting coaches are dreaming about a healthy season for Dalton Varsho. He was coming off the shoulder surgery. Then he had a serious hamstring injury that cost him about a month and a half. But wouldn't it be nice to get him out there for 140 plus games and see what the numbers are at the end of the season? And you know who else likes it? Blue Jay pitchers. They want to see him out there in center field as much as they can. Foul it off, 1-2.
Got to talk to him a little bit today before the game, and he was just reiterating the trust he has in hitting coach David Popkins and just how much he's learned about himself even in the last year and a half, and just continuing to trust that process with him. And something as simple as just opening up just a little bit, a little cue that really frees him up to then just go and worry about his approach.
You know, and I think this might sneak up on some Blue Jays fans because for whatever reason, Varsho's, you know, service time contract situation never really gets discussed very much, but this is a contract year for him. He is eligible for free agency for the first time in his career at the end of this season. He rips one to left center, and he's hit it hard enough to get it all the way to the wall. He's around second, thinking three, and he is in there with a stand-up triple.
You know, this is the part of Dalton Varsho's game that I really saw take over last year, using that left center part of the field. Maybe it's by accident, maybe it's just based off of pitch location, but as you're going to see him, these tight turns, and we love watching the lizard run around the bases. We love that. And a lot of times, if he can get it in the gaps, he's going to be looking for three.
So he's at third with one out. The Yankees will play the infield back this early in the game as Jesus Sanchez steps in. Picked up from the Astros for Joey Loperfido. This is a guy with tools, elite bat speed, hits the ball very hard. This one lined into left, a base hit, and in comes Varsho with the first run of the afternoon for the Blue Jays.
A really nice swing by Sanchez right there. It's a breaking ball. When you've got a left-handed hitter taking a breaking ball from a right-handed pitcher to the opposite field with that type of stance, with that type of balance, that to me is all about approach. And that tells me he had an approach. He was looking for something. He got it and he executed. A lot of times, if you don't have an approach, you might roll over that ball. He stays right behind it, drives that run in.
So the Blue Jays get one of those runs back, and now here's Davis Schneider DHing and hitting cleanup today for the Blue Jays. You see his numbers from a year ago, that OPS almost 800. A terrific combination of power and the ability to get on base. He doesn't need to hit 270 to be a really productive player. He can be a really productive player at 230, 240 with the walks and the homers. He'll use his timeout with a count 1-1. Sanchez, by the way, can run a little bit. Had 13 steals a year ago. Not going here as Schneider takes strike two. They didn't get this guy to sit on the bench, Caleb, especially against righties. He has not hit lefties much at all in his career, but don't you think he's going to be in there almost all the time against righties?
I do. And I think they've got a lot of belief in him, and there's a logjam. There's a bit of a logjam there, but I trust that they have an idea with what they want to do, and they've shown that they've got their system, and their system has worked, and it's proven to be trustworthy.
Outside, 3-2 on Schneider. John Schneider's in a running mood in the first inning.
I do.
Sanchez runs well. Davis Schneider does have some swing and miss in his game. We'll see how John Schneider plays it. A step off by Warren.
He's really been emphasizing base running this spring, and these are the times you want to press the envelope. You want to see a new player, their type of jump, their type of speed, their type of reaction.
Not going. And it's in the air to right field. In comes Judge for the shallow fly ball. 2 down. So Sanchez still at first with 2 outs, and here's Leo Jimenez, who's in an interesting spot this year. If you're a fan of the team, you probably have heard by now that Leo Jimenez is out of options, which means if he does not make the club out of spring, he's got to be exposed to waivers, and they would risk losing him. And Leo knows that. He knows probably his fate is one of 2 things: make the club, or maybe be with another organization once spring is done. That's low, a ball and a strike. It was a tough season for Jimenez a season ago. He was diagnosed with mono back in the spring and missed a ton of time, and then had other physical injuries to deal with later on in the year. After it looked like 2 years ago he might have been on the verge of really establishing himself with the club, at least maybe in a utility role, but health did not allow him to continue on that trajectory a season ago. Swings through it, 2-2.
Yeah, we talk about free agency for Dalton Varsho. This is sort of like a different piece of free agency for a player like Jimenez. You're really playing for all 30 teams. You probably wanted to be with the Blue Jays, as you've been a Blue Jay for a long time. You've got a bunch of buddies over here. You're trying to play well enough to break in, but at the same time, you are trying to play in the big leagues. That's your #1 goal if you're being selfish.
And a swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Warren, his second of the inning, but the Blue Jays do get a run back on the Varsho triple and the Sanchez single. 2-1 Yankees at the end of 1.
Welcome back to TD Ballpark. Well, Leo Jimenez getting the start at second base this afternoon, and according to John Schneider, he'll likely also see some time at short and maybe a little bit at third. Now, the roster is pretty much set barring injury. However, the Blue Jays need to figure out how to handle Jimenez, who is on the bubble, and as you heard Dan say earlier, out of options. Now, I asked John Schneider what Leo Jimenez needs to show him this spring, and he said the 24-year-old has to hit the ground running. Schneider doesn't want him to get caught up in results, but have good at-bats, run the bases well, and take charge in the infield. It's been well documented that his Achilles heel is staying healthy and really letting his game come through. Ross Atkins is looking for Jimenez to demonstrate he can contribute. We believe in him, he said, and excited about his athleticism being on our roster. And Dan, with the entire infield headed to the WBC, Jimenez will get plenty of opportunities to show just that. Guys?
Hazel, thank you. And yes, let's repeat what Hazel just said. With the entire infield going to the WBC, Alejandro Kirk, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Ernie Clement, Andres Jimenez, and Kazuma Okamoto. The entire starting infield is going for various countries to the WBC. So if you are a Leo Jimenez, a Josh Kasevich out of the minor league system, an Arjun Namala, who we're going to see off the bench today, if you're one of the non-starters, you're going to get a lot of playing time because the regulars may be gone for a couple of weeks.
So good to get live reps in front of the major league coaching staff. Oh, I would have killed to have those type of reps.
And a leadoff walk from Grant Rogers to Ahmed Rosario here in the top of the second. It's really all you can ask for is an opportunity to play. I guess they find out like by WhatsApp or group chat or something the night before if you're in the lineup. But if you're a player out of the minor league system, like you got to be looking at your phone every 10 seconds the evening before to find out if you're in there the next day.
Oh yeah, begging, hoping, on your knees, praying, just give me a chance. And then you get that call, and I've got that call, and then you start to get nervous real quick. Because you just never know. You never know if could this be the only time I kind of face a major league team. And I can't even imagine a guy like Grant Rogers coming over right to a basically starting lineup for the New York Yankees.
This is Jose Caballero, who goes after the first pitch and lines one into center, a base hit. Up to second goes Rosario. 2 on, nobody out.
That's a second or third ball from Rogers that isn't hit primarily perfectly. That ball's knuckling on the hands of Caballero right there, but just finds a hole just out of the reach of an infielder. If he can keep that type of contact, much like he did with Goldschmidt, maybe he can get another 2-ball here and kind of escape this mini jam.
The batter is Marco Luciano, a player picked up by the Yankees in the offseason, was with the Giants a little bit last year. He lifts one to right field. This one carries all the way to the track. Straw will make the catch. Both runners will tag and advance on the deep fly ball. You just never know here in Florida. You get a ball up in the air, you got to check the flags. It can knock it down or it can take it right on out of here, but it is not a very windy day at all here, especially compared to yesterday. And now the Blue Jays will bring the infield in with runners at second and third and 1 out, and the leadoff man Trent Grisham up. Caught the corner, 0-1. Does Grisham change anything in his mindset because the infield's in? And it's early in the game, but are you doing anything differently because the infield's in here?
I think it's just approach what he's looking for. Probably look something up in the zone. Knowing him being the wily vet, he might be looking off speed. That's kind of what I would be thinking. As a catcher, you're trying to get him on the ground, so you're probably thinking sinker. I would try and get it close to him, as he has a tendency to want to smother some of those down and in sinkers, but I'm in the booth, Dan.
Pulls it foul. It's 1-2.
But now you go for the punch out. If you're a Blue Jays pitcher, Blue Jays catcher, you're trying to go for that punch out. A lot of times to escape these type of jams, you've got to have swing and miss, and haven't really seen that yet today from Rogers.
As you said, he's a two-seamer guy, more of a ground ball guy than a strikeout guy generally. And strike 3 called, and Grisham is challenging.
The pitch was called a strike. The batter is challenging.
The Yankees are already 1 for 1 today. Wasn't it Grisham in the first inning?
It was.
Yeah, so. And he will not win this one. It remains strike 3, so he is out, and the Yankees have lost one of their 2 challenges.
Wow, I mean, from my perspective up here right behind home plate, I thought that was around the plate, but it wasn't. It's a backup breaking ball that almost acts perfectly. It catches that outside part of the plate, and that's the kind of strikeout you need to escape this jam.
Especially with who's coming up right now. And all you have to do is look at your screen on your TV at home to know. And if this were a regular season game, you know what would be happening right now?
4.
He'd be walking down to first. In the blink of an eye, but obviously you don't need to do that in a spring game, and you want to see what Grant Rogers can do here with Aaron Judge. We know this. He's one of the few guys who can look him in the eye. Grant Rogers is 6'7", exactly the same as Aaron Judge is. Out in front, 0-2. Yankees were down in Bradenton yesterday. Most of their regulars did not go. This isn't a home game, but again, Tampa's so close. They brought a lot of their regulars here, and Aaron Boone trying to get playing time for them before they leave for the WBC. Same as John Schneider is doing with a lot of his guys. A lot of the mainstays for the Blue Jays will play tomorrow in Lakeland and then Thursday at home before they leave Friday for their respective training camps at the WBC. Big cut and fouled back. Still 1-2.
How many phone calls do you think Rogers is going to make today talking about this at bat right here?
More if he gets them. Maybe not as many if it doesn't end well. One, 2 again. Up high, ball 2. Second and third, 2 down. Top 2 here in Dunedin. Fouled off. He's mixing his pitches up. Did you ever catch a game with a guy as physically, forget the ability, but just as physically big as Aaron Judge?
Oh yeah. I mean, well, I played against Judge, and I mean, he was by far the biggest that Ortiz felt bigger than he probably was.
Right. Popped him up. Ben Cowles, the shortstop, with the sunglasses on, will make the catch. And now I'm with you. He's making some phone calls tonight.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
He got Aaron Judge. The Blue Jays announced their promotions and event schedule for this season. This iconic season features promo celebrations of your American League champions, the 50th season of the franchise, and new and returning fan favorites. See the full schedule at bluejays.com/promotions. That Springer bobblehead that just moved out of your screen, that is showing the Game 7 home run against Seattle in the American League Championship Series. And I don't think it's a great leap of faith, Caleb, to think that they're going to be lined up early for that one. Here's a good swing on the ball by Brandon Valenzuela, getting a start behind the plate today. He is aboard with a base hit, and he's an interesting guy. They picked him up in a trade for Will Wagner at the deadline last season, and he figures to be the starting catcher at Buffalo this year.
Yeah, he's been back there watching the Yankees ambush his pitcher, and he said, you know what, I'm going to go up there and I'm going to take a whack at the first one. Good load right there. Gets into that backside really well. Good separation. Nice path.
Now Josh Kasevich, who is at third base today. He can play short, third, second. He is known as a contact guy, not a power guy, but he hit a home run a couple of days ago in Fort Myers that traveled 416 feet. And that'll open up some eyes.
Way back. They said he dropped the bat at home plate like he's done it a million times. And when you hit him that far, I think you're able to.
Second round pick out of Oregon in 2022. Missed a lot of time with injuries last year. Really had a tough season in the injury department. In 2024, he hit almost 300. Hit 296, 6 home runs, stole 13 bases. That was between AA and AAA. And he figures to start the year with the Bisons. Warren has fallen behind 3-0. And a strike, 3-1. Warren faced the Blue Jays once last year. It was on July the 2nd. Remember that big 4-game series where the Blue Jays swept it? This was the day after Canada Day, and they got 7 runs off him in the first inning. That was that series where the Blue Jays went from 3 games down to a game ahead of the Yankees and kind of took off from there over the next couple of months. They were swinging the bats like crazy during that series with the Yankees.
Fun to watch. Hitting can get contagious, Dan. Hitting can get contagious.
Let's see if the runner goes here. Real contact guy at the plate. Full count on Kasevich. Valenzuela not going. Now, see, to me, that's just dogging a catcher for not having enough foot speed to start him. There's a contact hitter here.
Yeah.
I'm just messing. But you got to stand up for your catcher.
I mean, sometimes you just got to go and ask for forgiveness later. You know, put me in, coach. I'm ready.
Stay out of a double play. I always get in trouble, whether it was with Buck or with Joe or with you, and I say things like, you know, he runs pretty well for a catcher. You always pause for a second.
Of course.
For a catcher.
Right. And we'll take it. Yeah. We'll take it. But that is the knock. It's always the speed thing. Well, I mean, we are crouching down for the whole game.
Oh, yeah, it's not your fault. Chopper towards third. Only play is to first, and there won't be a play. Everybody is safe.
We call that a jailbreak swing, meaning you're leaning out over the plate, and as the right-handed hitter, he's going to be leaning out over, and he's already in his motion. Only chance at third for Rosario is probably to barehand this ball. He goes for the glove, and he bobbles it, but those are the type of swings as a hitter, you're thinking, not my best, but I will take the result 100 out of 100.
So 2 on with nobody out, and the batter is Riley Terada, a 27-year-old who's been with Buffalo the last couple of years. Throw down to first. Kasevich dives back in safely. And a challenge.
The pitch was called a ball. The catcher is challenging.
Pitch was called a ball. The catcher is challenging. Remember, the Yankees have already lost one of their 2 because they had an unsuccessful challenge an inning ago.
Call is overturned. The pitch is a strike. New York has 1 challenge remaining.
So the pitch is easily a strike. Caleb, is that a home plate umpire getting blocked out a little bit because the catcher popped up out of his crouch?
No question about it. And I think there's going to be a lot of those type of replays because that happens so often during a Major League game.
And I don't know how you feel. I'm all in favor of the system they have now, and I'm sure you are in that instance as well. Like, that's an obvious strike, and if you're a catcher, you want to feel free to get out of your crouch and make a play without it costing you a strike.
Especially when it's pre-planned. That was obviously pre-planned with Goldschmidt at first base. Probably a sign well before the pitch was even thrown. He knew that he was going to go to first, getting up out of his crouch, preparing for that next play.
In the air to right center field. Judge over. He will make the catch. Nobody's tagging. The runners hold at first and second. So the Yankees have been busy. They have challenged 3 pitches in the first 2 innings. You only get 2 a game, but if you're correct, you retain them. So they're 2 for 3, so they've lost one of their 2 challenges. You all good with it? Anything you would tweak about the system?
It's so fresh still for me, Dan, but I do like it. I like that it's not going to be abused. I like that it's not going to be an endless amount of these type of challenges, and it's going to force teams to be strategic. I mean, first batter of the game, Grisham uses it. It makes you wonder, okay, would he do that possibly in a regular Major League game? You're going to have to figure out who gets the latitude and leeway here and there.
Aaron Boone in his 9th season as the manager of the New York Yankees. That'll catch the corner, and it's a quick couple of strikes on Ben Cowles. 26-year-old getting a start at shortstop today for the Blue Jays. Claimed off waivers from the Cubs just before spring training. Swings through it, and Warren will get him for out number 2. So here's what we're looking at when we're talking about the challenge system. This has been used in spring training before, and it has been used in the upper levels of the minors before, but it is in for the regular season right now. Each team starts with 2. If you get to extra innings and you're out, you get 1 back for the 10th inning. If you use it, lose it, you'll get another 1 back for the 11th inning. And here's a key part. Only the batter, pitcher, and catcher can challenge. It must be virtually immediately within a couple of seconds. Everybody I've heard from, talked to, whatever, it doesn't sound like pitchers will be that involved in it. Do you think the vast majority of them come from hitters or catchers?
It would definitely be from catchers. If you see slow motion types of pictures for pitchers, I mean, their faces are all over the place. Half the time they're not looking at what they see as a finished product of the finalized frame or presentation of the catcher. A lot of times they don't see it crossing the plate.
Miles Straw, the batter, 2 on, 2 out. So if you're a manager, you've got to assess each of your hitters. How much do you trust them to ask for a challenge? But you've really got to trust your catchers to be able to do it.
Just another conversation that a manager might have to have with a certain player at a certain time during the year.
Well, you know what? Tyler Heineman's going to join us in the booth here in the 4th inning today. So I'm sure he's been to challenge class a number of times already. I'm sure the Blue Jays are doing a lot with it behind the scenes, and we'll ask him for his opinion on it and how it's going for him so far.
I'm intrigued if they have the technology to then practice this. You know, maybe set the machine up and train your eyes.
Just throw pitches right on or right off the
corner. and get your eyes accustomed with certain, again, for me, if I was catching it would be the ones where I'm set up inside and it's thrown outside, or I'm set up and it's pitched down where my eyes are not directly behind the baseball. That could present a challenge.
those are the ones where you didn't used to get a strike, because even if it was in the zone, because you had to move a lot to catch it, those, I would think some of those would go the pitcher's way more than they used to.
100%. They love pitches entering kind of the lane of the knees of the catchers, and when you see a catcher have to reach all the way over, that's when the umpires get a lot of grief from the dugouts.
1-2, and Straw lifts a fly ball to center. Grisham is there, and that'll be the inning as the Blue Jays leave a couple of men on. Yankees 2, Blue Jays 1 at the end of 2 on a nice, clear, sunny day here in Florida. Season for the Blue Jays, a number of changes, and one of the key guys here is Tyler Rogers. We'll talk about him in a moment. Dylan Cease, obviously a huge addition to the rotation. Okamoto with third, Cody Ponce in the rotation. We talked about Jesus Sanchez. A number of players are out as well, but Max Scherzer hasn't signed with anybody. Who knows if Scherzer could rejoin the Blue Jays? Maybe he signs with them in the coming weeks. But right now we're going to focus on a guy who the Blue Jays are going to count on, Caleb, for some very big outs, and he is unique, to say the least.
John Schneider told me this afternoon that Tyler Rogers, that is, told him that he wants to break the all-time holds record. He said, I want to get out there and hold the games for you. It's as simple of a repertoire as possible, sinker slider, but it is not simple in terms of the delivery. Watch how low he gets here. Unbelievable.
He is pretty much a unicorn here in baseball right now. The fastball's low to mid-80s. Got a slider as well, and he's going to face some big-time hitters. Cody Bellinger is the first hitter for the Yankees, and all of these guys have seen Rogers before. He has had a nice long major league career with a lot of success. Rogers signed a 3-year, $37 million deal with the Blue Jays. He has been a giant for years and years, and you talked about holds. He has not really been a big save guy, but he's kind of your 7th, 8th inning guy, come in and protect a lead, doesn't strike out a ton, but boy, does he get a lot of soft contact.
And durability. I think that's a huge thing for the Blue Jays and John Schneider with this type of arm angle and with this type of velocity. A lot of times these guys, they got rubber arms and they can go. They could go 3 out of 4 without any issues.
Well, Bellinger got a hold of this one. Deep right field, and it's high off the wall. He'll make a big turn, but head back to first with a long, loud single.
Off the bat, it looked like it was off the end of the bat. I didn't think it was going to carry. Miles Straw was kind of baiting like he was going to catch it, but it was off the top of the wall. It's kind of a hanging back up slider. And from that angle, if you back up that slider, it's almost as if it goes literally backwards, which is why you give that hitter a chance instead of getting underneath that ball and creating some whiff.
Now the second baseman, Jazz Chisholm Jr., the cleanup hitter today for the Yankees. He is off to the WBC. He will represent Great Britain in the World Baseball Classic. Chisholm was born in the Bahamas, which by virtue of being a former British colony is enough to allow him to play for Great Britain, and he has represented Great Britain before internationally. Well, this is where, if you're Tyler Rogers, you're looking for a ground ball, although Chisholm is a left-handed batter, runs well, tough guy to double up, but Rogers' bread and butter is getting guys to hit the ball on the ground. And he got him. Strike 3 called, and now Jazz Chisholm wants to challenge.
The pitcher's called a strike. The batter is challenging.
Remember, they have lost one of their 2, but they've still got one available, and let's have a look at it.
The call is overturned.
And he was right. Ball 2.
New York has 1 challenge remaining.
Yankees are hitting 750 today.
Wow. Yeah, I kind of like this. I really do.
And it's fast.
Yes,
right?
that's what's most impressive about this system is the umpires are quick, the process is quick, and then they're right back in it.
The idea is to keep it at 15 seconds or less whenever this happens. That looked pretty close.
Yeah.
But it would be on Brandon Valenzuela if he wanted to challenge.
Correct.
So now 3-2. And an awkward swing, and Rogers will get a lot of those as he strikes Chisholm out. With more on Rogers, here's Hazel.
Dan, I asked Rogers how much work he'd like to get in this spring, and he said, I would like 9 outings. Of course, it's hard to say an exact number. He can get into backfield games and whatnot, but he said 9 is ideal, and the veteran guy knows just what he needs to get ready for the regular season. Dan.
Hazel, thank you. Yeah, he's been at this for a while, so he knows. I went up to him today, really nice guy, just met him for the first time yesterday, and I said, I really apologize, Tyler. I'm sure you've answered this question 1,000 times, but how did you wind up throwing from way down there? And he just smiled because he's answered that question 1,000 times. But he was at a junior college in Kansas and really struggling as a freshman. This one lifted in the air center. It is deep. Varsho is back, running out of room, and it's gone. Man, that one was high off the batter's eye and straightaway center, as Paul Goldschmidt gets every bit of it to make it 4-1 Yankees.
We talked about the wily veteran. He's entering his 16th major league season. We talked about the height and size of Judge. Well, Goldschmidt is about the widest, most strong man out there. He's got just huge muscles, and see a little cut off half swing. That's trying to keep that ball directionally towards the middle of the field, and he gets it, every bit of it.
Goldschmidt not expected to be an everyday guy for the Yankees. They're going to give Ben Rice a long look at first base, but Goldschmidt can platoon, pinch hit. Here's Austin Wells. So even though we just gave up the homer, if you'll indulge me, I wanted to finish that story.
I'm intrigued. Yeah. Please, I want to know.
So he said, listen, when you're at a junior college in the middle of Kansas and you're struggling to get outs and your coach comes to you and says, hey, I've got an idea. Let's try something different. Like, you better listen. He wasn't having a lot of success. So he said as a freshman, he dropped down, but kind of a side armor, not a submariner. And over the next season and a half, Caleb, he just kept dropping more. And the more he dropped, the more success he had. After his sophomore year with the junior college, he went to a D1 school, Austin Peay, had a couple of years there, got drafted by the Giants, and has gone on to have a terrific career. It's not something he anticipated doing. You know, nobody starts down there. You go down there because
necessity.
Right, out of necessity. But as a lot of people know, he's got an identical twin brother, Taylor Rogers, who has also had a very nice career. And he's a lefty and throws like conventionally. So they're two totally different guys in terms of pitching, even though they're identical twins. And I learned something today. He goes, well, we're opposite trait identical twins.
Oh, that is hilarious.
And I said, what is that? He goes, I just looked it up a few days ago. And then he Googled it on his phone and he showed it to me. He said, I was just talking to somebody about it a couple of days ago. And there's such a thing as opposite trait identical twins, where if you're a lefty, I'm a righty. Your hair parts on this side, my hair parts. I don't have hair, but your hair parts on this side, mine parts on that side.
So who's the smart one?
No comment. But I had never heard of that, and he was turned into a nice, interesting conversation.
I have never heard of that either, and it obviously makes perfect sense. Righty, lefty, up top, underneath.
He said it's pretty rare for identical twins to be opposite trait. That's what they are. He strikes out Rosario. So he gives up the 2-run homer, but gets a couple of Ks here in the top of the third. Iconic home runs throughout the history of the Blue Jays franchise, and now is your chance to have 5 of the most memorable home runs all on one t-shirt. On May the 11th, the first 15,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays legendary home run t-shirt presented by Ryobi. Learn more at bluejays.com/promotions.
That is so cool. I will be in line for one of those.
You know, you hit one at Fenway in 2020, but I didn't see your face on it. That's another promotion later on.
Woo!
The next tier of the The 5 ones you don't think about as much. Really? I'm just messing with you.
Oh, I love it.
My
last one.
As another broadcast partner of mine said to me one time, "Oh yeah, where can I find your stats?"
No, I love it. I love it. And the Blue Jays do such a great job with these giveaways. We're so fortunate that we get some of them most of the time, and I've got a closet full of them. Love them.
0-2 swing by Dalton Varsho with a high fly to left center. Bellinger will make the catch in front of Grisham. And while we have a moment, we'd like to welcome people who are watching on the Gotham Sports app. That's on the Yankees side of things. So Yankee fans may be tuning into this game, streaming this game. Everybody wants to find any way they can to check out their team. Not every game is televised, obviously, during spring training. So we welcome those folks on the Gotham Sports app to the telecast today. Jesus Sanchez, who had an RBI single in the first. Most of his big league time with the Marlins, traded to Houston at the deadline last year and then picked up for Joey Loperfido in the offseason. And I know you will share this sentiment. I think everybody who's met Joey Loperfido hopes he gets a great chance to play and wishes him nothing but the best. They don't come any nicer than Joey Loperfido.
Great guy, great teammate from what the players told me, and he had some runway there, and he really took advantage of it, and then just kind of got caught in a numbers crunch.
Yeah, this is an organization that a couple of years ago didn't have any left-handed hitting outfielders, and now they're all over the place, not only on the major league roster, but then you look at maybe the next wave, R.J. Schreck and Yohendrick Pinango, left-hand hitting outfielders as well.
Win now teams.
Yep.
The shift in just what do we need in certainty right now, and it's a shift that the Blue Jays organization has really gotten into over the last couple of years.
And strike 3 call. Look right down the middle on Sanchez, 2 down.
Thought one of the dirtiest pitches in baseball from a right-handed pitcher is that front hip sinker to a left-handed batter. Watch this pitch come right back over the inside part of the plate, especially if you've done some work with the breaking balls close to the body line. A lot of times they see it out of that window and they lock down.
A pitching change here in Dunedin. Will Warren has obviously reached his pitch count and is out of the ballgame after 2 2/3. I don't know if it's an Osprey or an Osprey.
Oh, yeah.
You know how to say that?
No, I do not. I was a catcher.
I think it's Osprey. One of the native birds here in Florida, and that's its regular perch, the nest up there. Getting a great view of the ballpark here in Dunedin. Here is Jake Bird, picked up in a deal with Colorado last year. You see his combined numbers with the Rockies and the Yankees. Yankee bullpen is interesting to me this year. Luke Weaver is now a Met. Devin Williams is now a Met. And they had some shakiness in there last year. They've got David Bednar, who's going to be their closer, Camilo Doval. But I don't think there have been years in the past where it's been an airtight lockdown bullpen for the Yankees, and I'm not sure they're quite at that level this year.
Go back to those Chapman, Britton, Holmes days. If it was over by the 5th, it was over.
Fernando Cruz, also a big part of the bullpen. Tim Hill, a very veteran guy, situational lefty. He's taken up and away, 3-1 on Davis Schneider.
Do you think that might be the hardest thing to kind of build year in, year out right now at this point in baseball, is just consistent bullpens?
I do, because relievers tend to be more volatile in their performance than starters or position players. And those outs are huge. You need more of those outs. Starters don't go as deep generally as they used to. So, I mean, I'm old enough to remember 4-man rotations and 5-man bullpens, like 9 guys on the pitching staff, and now it's 13 guys on the pitching staff. There's a good swing by Schneider and a base hit through the left side.
That's a lot of innings from starters. Like what, 230, 250?
I think, well, I'll look it up right now. Dave Steve had, I think, 280 one year.
Wow. Good swing by Schneider right there. A couple really nasty breaking balls made in clinch, but when he gets to 3-2, he hangs in there. And he's got a propensity to take it from an 0-2, 1-2 count into 3-2. Love that about his game.
Here's Leo Jimenez. And a little bit earlier, we were talking about infielders getting a chance because some of the starters are going to the WBC, and I whiffed on the fact that Leo Jimenez is going to the WBC. He will play for Panama. 20 countries in the WBC. Jake Bird's really working on the breaking ball here today.
Sweeper heavy, and it's coming from kind of a lower arm angle. Obviously not anywhere close to Rogers, but very unique delivery. Screaming and grunting and yelling out there like Robbie Ray.
All right, you ready? This is 4 consecutive years for Dave Steve, 1982 through 1985. 288 in the third.
What?
278, 267, 200. On an ERA title in that 4th year, 1985. Swung on and missed. Bird staying with that sweeper, strikes out Jimenez. We will go to the 4th, and when we come back for the 4th inning, Blue Jay catcher Tyler Heineman is right here in this very TV booth with us, and we're going to talk some Blue Jays baseball with him when we come back. Here in Dunedin, glad to have you along for another spring training ball game between the Yankees and the Blue Jays. Dan Schulman, Caleb Joseph, Hazel May, and as we mentioned, look who we got. We got Tyler Heineman in the booth. He's going to spend the top and bottom half of this inning with us, talk a little Blue Jays baseball. We got to ask him about the challenge system.
Yes.
We've had 4 of them already. Welcome. It's good to have you here.
No, I'm glad to be here. It's an exciting part for me. So I'm excited to get it going and see how these guys do it in the booth.
Obviously, Tyler knew he wasn't playing today, so that's why he is able to join us. He's going to get in there in a couple of days. The guys who are going to the WBC, like Alejandro Kirk, getting a lot of playing time, so Heineman's going to get busier in a couple of days. Although, tell us a little bit about this. Just because you're not in the game doesn't mean you are not busy in spring training. What time do you show up at the PDC at the complex on a normal day?
Yeah, so normally we're there. Meetings start for catchers around 8 a.m. We usually have the game review from the day before. But, oh, we have a challenge again. Here we go.
The Yankees are challenge happy here today, and they're 3 for 4 so far.
4 for 5.
The call is
There you go.
overturned. Pitches a ball. New York has 1 challenge remaining.
I mean, that's not by much, but that's enough.
The way I'm looking at it as a catcher is, Valenzuela, you're doing a heck of a job back there because they are constantly challenging, and that means that he's doing his job behind the plate, making these look like strikes. So, but back to your point, we are there around, I get there at 6:30 in the morning. I do my stretching routine and get some breakfast, and then we have some meetings at 8 a.m. It's usually about the game before and getting to know these pitchers. With as the catchers, all catchers are there. We are always we're not able to catch everybody in the games, so being able to learn about what they do, what makes them tick, how they like the setups, what they're trying to work on. There's so many pitchers that we need to learn these. The learning curve is fast, so we need to make sure that we're kind of ahead of the game, and meetings are one way that Pete Walker and John Schneider kind of get us going and make it you know, a little bit quicker for us to learn all the guys that we need to learn.
I mean, you've been at this for a while as a professional. There's strike 3 called, and another challenge.
There it goes. Valenzuela, baby. Let's go.
The pitch was called a strike. The batter is challenging.
This will be the 6th challenge for the Yankees already in this game. They're 4-1. And again, if they had gotten 2 wrong, they're out. They can't do it
The call is
anymore.
overturned. The pitch is the ball. New York has 1 challenge remaining.
All right, so I got a couple of catchers in the booth. Where are we on the fact that it's a ball by 0.2 of an inch?
I just feel bad for the umpire because that's close. That one's really close.
Yeah.
That's our job, though, right? As catchers, we're trying to make everything look as good as possible on every single pitch, and he's doing a fantastic job today.
Marco Luciano, the batter. Okay, so tell us from your perspective, how has the challenge system impacted your spring so far?
I think that the challenge system is something that's going to be good for baseball, right? You saw that that was a strike 3 and it was overturned, and he ended up getting the walk that he deserved. So not being able to take it out of the hitter's hands or take it out of the pitcher's hands if it's the incorrect call is a cool thing for baseball. Obviously, from a selfish perspective as a catcher, that is, that's what makes us good. That's why we're at where we're at, and being able to have that still, not having a full unbelievable right there. Really good job by Valenzuela. That is so hard to do on a spiked fastball. But not being able to have that as your bread and butter anymore and see how things are, it's going to be a challenge. Gosh.
There's the pick. What makes a spiked fastball particularly tough to get?
I just think it's a reaction. I mean, Caleb can tell you as well. It's not something that you're ever expecting, and it's something that just comes out of instincts. So.
Speaking of instincts, Leo Jimenez charging at the runner, putting the tag on him, getting the throw to first in time. Nice double play.
Take it, Tyler.
That's
Here we go.
That's a hard thing. Yeah. So this is a tough play. As a runner, you're taught to, if you can beat this and get in front of it, you're taught to keep going. And if you can't get there, you're supposed to stop so that you cannot get the double play. And he was in between there, and Leo did a really good job of being able to tag him and then get the guy out at first as well.
So 2 outs on that play. Here's Trent Grisham up for the 3rd time, a base hit and a strikeout. Guy that Angel Bastardo really wants to get, because Aaron Judge is on deck. And well, we haven't really set Bastardo. We've been so engaged here with Tyler, but Bastardo was a Rule 5 pickup from the Red Sox organization prior to last year, but had undergone Tommy John surgery. The Blue Jays knew he wasn't going to pitch at all last year, but he remains a Rule 5 guy, which means to stay in the org, he has to make the major league team or be offered back to the Red Sox. So you talk about a guy, Caleb, Tyler, whoever wants to jump in. I mean, he understands too, in a different sort of way. He's either going to be in the majors with the Blue Jays, or he's going to be offered back to the Red Sox.
Yeah, what an opportunity he has to show off what he's got. He had a whole year to think about it, and obviously being hurt is a really hard thing to deal with, but hopefully he's coming back and he's every bit of the pitcher that the Blue Jays wanted, and he's able to show the Blue Jays brass what he's got and make the team.
Yeah, the Blue Jays actually have 2 Rule 5 pitchers right now. Spencer Miles, who was taken from the Giants in this past winter's Rule 5 draft, is another guy in the same situation. You talk about having to catch so many guys. I would imagine at the beginning you just got to learn their faces, like what's your name, and you're introducing yourself and they're introducing themselves there. How many lockers are in the major league clubhouse? About 70?
Yeah, it's got to be about 65 or 70 for sure, and all of them are filled up, especially with the WBC this year, and all these guys are starting to leave, so there's going to be more and more opportunities for guys to get looks.
Strike 3 called. Grisham won't challenge this one. Bastardo gets him. We'll have more with Tyler Heidemann when we come back. The Blue Jays 4-1 going to the bottom of the 4th. Dan Schulman, Caleb Joseph, Hazel May, and again Tyler Heidemann is with us here in the booth, if you can see. There we are. That's Tyler in the middle.
The best looking one's in the middle, of course.
Easily. All right, Caleb, jump in. I know you've got a question you've been dying to ask.
Okay, since that World Series game when you came in for Alejandro Kirk, tell me about that, because you had not played in the playoffs up until that point, and you come in World Series game, it is on the line. I was so nervous for you. How are you feeling?
It's really difficult when you're doing it to kind of feel nervous because it happens so quickly, right? All throughout the year you have opportunities to go into the game if they're going to pinch run for Kirk in a tough situation or something where we need a little bit more foot speed on the bases. I have to be ready at all times, so you don't know when you're going to get called, but you know that your number could get called. So having that, you don't really have time to feel anxious or get nervous about it. You just kind of do it, and when you get thrown into it, it just becomes kind of muscle memory. So it's one of those situations that kind of felt normal, as strange as that sounds,
yeah.
But a situation and an experience that I'll never forget.
A testament to how John Schneider uses his roster. That's the whole point. That's the whole reason you do it in April, in July, in August, is so that if that's your game, you knew what you were expected and you went out there and executed. Tell me about the ABs. You said you might have had one you wanted back.
I wanted all three back, to be honest, but there was one in particular. Obviously, I had second and third and 2 outs, and Will Klein did a fantastic job. That's a great pitch right there. Will Klein did a fantastic job, and you got to give credit where credit's due. But you want to have it back when you have second and third with 2 outs in a situation, and he just made a great pitch, and I didn't get it done. I didn't get it done.
What was the whole month like for the group? I mean, as you know, the entire country was going bananas for this team and on the edge of its collective seat and couldn't get enough of Blue Jays baseball. You beat the Yankees, you beat the Mariners. As Kasevich gets one in the air, this is carrying, but it's caught on the track by Judge, 2 down. In the room, what was it like day to day for this group?
You're not going to believe me when I say it, but it really was the same energy and the same camaraderie from probably start of June until even in the playoffs. We were such a close-knit group of guys, and we had so many different personalities that worked so well together that being able to have that and then have these experiences, and like Caleb was saying, how John Schneider uses our bench and the bullpen. He wants to win every single game. That's his job as a manager, and he deploys his assets or his guys in that way every single game. So we were able to be in that situation early on in June when a lot of teams might not be doing that type of thing or subbing that many guys. So we know our role, and we just worked well together, and it just continued to work on throughout the playoffs. And man, it was such a special group and a special experience.
How important was it? You knew when and how you would be deployed. Miles Straw knew, Nathan Lucas knew, on and on. Everybody knew how they were going to be used. How helpful was that to the guys?
I think that's the most important thing, honestly. If you know your role, you might not like the role that you're in, right? Because not everyone is able to be the starter, but if you know your role, you're able to prepare for that role.
Want to stick around for another half inning?
I would love to stick out.
This for the top of the 5th.
Here you are making our problems again the whole group's problem.
I think most followers of the major leagues would agree that the American League East typically is the most difficult division to win. If you look at the last 5 years, 4 of the 5 teams have won it. The Yankees twice, and the Blue Jays and Yankees, both teams won 94 games last year, but the Blue Jays, the division champs by virtue of winning the season series 8-5, and Caleb, it figures to be a battle in the American League East again this year.
Had an executive I worked for one year said, you don't rebuild in the East, you reload.
Top 5, 4-1 Yankees. Aaron Judge leading it off, and he tops one up the third baseline and will beat it out.
Not something you see from Judge too often right there.
That voice, Tyler Heineman, joining us again in the booth this half inning. You don't see a lot of swinging bunts off the bat of Aaron Judge, but in a regular season game, Tyler, you probably take it because you kept him in the ballpark.
100 times out of 100 you take that. He's such a dangerous hitter, one of the best in the big leagues, if not the best, and our job is to not let him beat us. That's our #1 goal usually going into a series.
Cody Bellinger 2 for 2. How much do you talk to the opposing hitters in a regular season game? Like the Judge comes up for the first time, or Bellinger, do you say, hey Cody, how's it going?
Yeah, their first time up at the plate for sure. You say what's going on, how you doing? And
I think we got a catcher challenge here by Valenzuela.
Doing it on both sides.
There you go.
The pitch is a strike. Toronto has 2 challenges.
So that's the Blue Jays first. The Yankees have gone 5-1 in their 6. We're going to need to find a spot on our scorecard to keep track of all this stuff. So good job by Valenzuela.
Usually you have a tally on how many challenges are used up on the scoreboard.
I believe that it actually is going to be in regular season games. It'll be there. A nice running catch made by Ismael Munguia, who has just checked into the game, and he makes the play for the first out. And that's a great point by you. It's not here. It's nowhere that I can see anyway here at TD Ballpark, but in major league ballparks during the regular season, I think it's replacing the mound visits category. The challenges category will now be there because you need to know that.
Yeah, we got to know. You should be in tune with it the entire time, but you really got to know that as a catcher because you have to know when and if to use a challenge. There's going to be some strategic element to that as well, and it's something that we're going to have to get used to as catchers.
One down and a 1-0 count on Jazz Chisholm Jr., who's got an RBI single and a strikeout. So let me get back to that. Would you put yourself on the chatty side or the quiet side with opposing hitters?
So a lot of people that know me know that I like to talk and I like to have a good time. So it'd be surprising for you to think that everyone would think that I'm a chatty guy behind the plate, but you know, it is everyone's job. It is their job when they're at the plate. That's what they do. You know, they get paid to do that. So you have to be respectful of that. So the first at bat of every game, most everyone says, "Hi, how are you doing? Hey, Heine, what's going on? Great to see you. Have a great game." But after that, it's usually business as usual.
This is Jesse Hahn, by the way, on the mound for the Blue Jays. Just signed a couple of weeks ago. He's 36 years of age and has major league experience with 4 different teams. Most of it, though, back some years from 2014 through 2021. A little bit of time with Seattle last year, but most of it at AAA. But Caleb, you can never have enough pitching, and even if it's, you know, a 36-year-old guy, if he is a starter with Buffalo and you build him up and, you know, guys go down with injuries, you just never know.
I don't think the Blue Jays planned on Fluharty making as many appearances as he did.
I don't think the Blue Jays planned on Heineman making as many appearances as he did.
You can never have enough depth, and especially good, deep, experienced depth. I think that's what's been missing in the game for a while now, is just the experienced depth. And the Blue Jays are kind of racking up a bunch of these guys that have major league experience that, if needed, could come in and not be shell-shocked in the big leagues.
Are you talking about on the mound, Dan? Because that's
I'm talking about on the mound.
That's a sore subject right there. That's a sore subject.
But you carried a 0 lifetime ERA for a while, but then it kind of blew up on you in the last one, right?
Yeah, blew up is an understatement, to say the least, right there. I think I have the most amount of hits given up and runs given up by a relief pitcher in the major leagues. I believe, you can fact check me on this, in less than 60 pitches. It was 1 inning and a third, and I had like 43 pitches, 13 hits, and 11 runs given up. So I was filling it up, but it was not being received very well.
That was against the Royals in September.
So it was historic.
Yeah.
I guess you could say that.
You want the line, or you pretty much just gave the line? So
you can give me the actual line, please. It's
1 1/3, 13 hits, 10 runs, all earned. Didn't walk a batter.
10. That's better than I thought. I thought it was 11.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm gonna go home today a little bit happier than I was before.
33 pitches, 27 strikes. I mean, you were pounding the zone.
Too much so, some would say. Too much so.
What's your attitude? I mean, we joke about it sometimes. Nobody loves to see it. Other guys have had to do it. What's on your mind when you go out to the mound and want to listen?
I will do anything for the team. A lot of people know me as a team first guy, and that's exactly what I try and do. It is our job as the backup catcher to be in that. So get there.
Just foul.
So, you know, obviously you don't want to be in those situations. Almost every time I've pitched in a major league game, we've been down by a ton. I actually closed out a game when we were ahead, and that was kind of fun. But the fact that you're in there is to save the bullpen, right? We play so many games during the regular season and so many games in a row that when a starter comes out in 1 inning or an inning and a third or 2 innings, it's really hard to cover, and especially if you've been playing in a long stretch where you have 6 games out of 7 days, or 12 out of 13, something like that. It's something that is often overlooked, but a necessary evil, so to speak.
Yep. And every team goes through it.
Yeah, I mean, every team goes through it, and you don't want it to happen, but if you could save a bullpen arm so he's available the next day, or the following day after that.
This is hit hard, but hooked foul down the line by Paul Goldschmidt.
It is, he's taking some good swings today.
Hit a 2-run homer his last time up. Won an MVP with the Cardinals. Had so many great years with the Diamondbacks.
Underrated superstar for a long time, playing in Arizona. Oh man, he was just a machine. I mean, just count him in for 100. Batted in.
The 2-2 again from Hahn is way outside. 3-2.
Even better guy though too. I mean, anyone that knows him, Caleb, you played against him, played with him I think as well with the Diamondbacks. He is a class act on and off the field.
You guys were teammates for a little bit, right?
We were.
Yeah. Where, when?
Reno in AAA with the Diamondbacks in 2019.
Gambling buddies.
No, he was trying to show me the ropes, and I was trying to, you know, keep him from being mad all the time that he was down in the minor leagues a little bit. You know, it was a little bit of unfair situation that he got himself into, just politically with how baseball is. And you know, he did a really good job. He was a great mentor to me, and I learned a lot from him in my time.
Hooked into left, a base hit for Goldschmidt. This one's going all the way down into the corner. Judge will come in to score. Chisholm is on his way to the plate. It's a 2-run double and a 4 RBI afternoon for Goldschmidt. 6-1 Yankees.
Yeah, just enough of the bat here on that sweeper from Hahn. Really battling Goldschmidt was during this at-bat. 8-pitch at-bat, found some tough pitches off, and you can tell he's a little bit fooled. He's out in front. It's right off the end, but he stays through it just enough to keep it fair. That top spin allows that ball to really travel down the left field line and score 2 for the Yankees.
Now Austin Wells 0 for 2. Well, Tyler, let me ask you, I feel funny calling you Tyler because everybody calls you Heine.
Yeah.
Well, Heine, let me ask you on a personal level, not just the team success, we talked about that, but you've been a guy, you know, you've gotten some playing time in the big leagues, but up and down in a lot of different organizations. What did it mean to you to spend an entire year in the big leagues and to get a real chance to play and contribute on a good team?
I mean, it was everything, right? It's everything you dream of as a player. You want opportunities like that, and to do it on a team that ended up going to the World Series and having the success that we had was something special, and just something really looking forward to building on.
Did the season, I mean, you played who knows how many spring games, then 162, then another 18. Like, did you sleep for a week after the season?
No, well, so I have 2 kids at home, and you know, a wife that's been absolutely doing her thing during the season when we're gone for 8 months out of the year. And so you got to do what you can to help her out a little bit and kind of pull your weight in the off season. But yeah, I definitely. Oh, here comes another challenge.
Another challenge. This one by Austin Wells, the Yankee batter. It was called strike 3.
The pitch was called a strike. The batter's challenging.
Was it low, or did it catch the bottom of the zone? It was just low and away.
The pitch is a ball. New York has 1 challenge
I think
remaining.
the Yankees are 6-1 right now.
Wow.
I don't know that we'll ever see a regular season game with this many. Maybe we will. I mean, if you keep being successful, you retain.
You're gone.
Yeah.
That's what it's for, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look, he's been a couple of strikeouts overturned, so that's the reason for it.
Ground ball to second, and Jimenez on to first for the second out as the runner comes to third. 2 down. All right. Maybe final thoughts. We got 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. What are you most looking forward to? You've got some new teammates. You've lost some good teammates. You got some new teammates. What are your thoughts going into the season this year?
I mean, I'm personally looking forward to getting back after it with the guys and trying to build on the success from last year and not really take into consideration the fact that we did as well as we did last year. You know, it's a new year, but George kind of told us this earlier on in spring, that when you hang a banner, you also hang a bullseye on your back. So
love that.
It's a good line.
Love that.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing, and just something that kind of hits home, and it makes sense, right? Everybody's gonna be gunning for us. We're the reigning AL champs and won the AL East, so looking forward to that, and just rewriting kind of a new chapter in Blue Jays history instead of trying to build off of last year's success.
Even though obviously everybody wanted to take it one step further and win the World Series, it's still going to be pretty cool to raise that banner on opening day.
Oh, I mean, absolutely.
Really?
For everyone on the team, right, we didn't get the ultimate goal that we wanted to get, but just to get to the point that we did, it's amazing.
Was still a success.
100% in my mind. I mean, we were picked to finish last, right? I think everyone said we were picked to finish last in the AL East. And we had the most wins in the AL, tied with the Yankees, of course, but got the tiebreaker on them. So
a tricky hop at third that eats up Kasevich, and another run will come in for the Yankees. So now 7-1.
Yeah, I mean, that's like I was saying, that's our goal. We want to win the World Series. That's the ultimate goal. But to say that we didn't have a to say we didn't have a successful season would be not a correct statement, you know. And so we have to know that the ultimate goal was not made or you know, achieved, but you know, a lot of goals were.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you for doing this. I hope you had a good time. And we will see you at the complex. We'll see you in games, and we wish you the best of luck this year.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Tyler Heineman, Blue Jays catcher. We'll come back to Dunedin after this. Heineman for spending some good time with us. Got a lot of good insight from him. Appreciate that. 7-1 Yankees, and a new pitcher is into the game for the Blue Jays here with 2 outs in the 5th inning. A guy that, if you have watched spring games in the past, you have seen a fair bit of him over the years. Right-hander Hayden Yinger, 25 years of age, a 6th-round pick back in 2021. Made 31 appearances at AAA Buffalo last year. Jose Caballero, the batter, and he pops the first pitch up. This is tricky, but it's caught by the first baseman, Riley Tirada. There is no such thing as a routine pop-up here in Florida. And that certainly tested the degree of difficulty, but a really good play by Tirada as Yinger throws one pitch to pick up the 3rd out against the Yankees here in the top of the 5th. Back here at TD Ballpark, bottom of the 5th, the Yankees 7 runs on 9 hits. The Blue Jays 1 run on 5 hits. The Yankees, as we mentioned off the top, basically brought an A lineup here to Dunedin. Paul Goldschmidt's got a double, a homer, and 4 RBIs. Aaron Judge, Cody Bellinger, Jazz Chisholm Jr., Trent Grisham all have had moments here today. Left-hander Brent Hedrick is now on the mound for the Yankees. 3rd pitcher of the day for them. Ben Cowles at shortstop today, getting his 2nd at bat. He's in the number 9 spot in the order. Miles Straw is out in the on-deck circle. He's been the leadoff man to this point for the Blue Jays. Cowles with a strikeout in the 2nd. Infielders, 2nd, short, 3rd. There's Straw. I think Miles Straw felt almost exactly like Tyler Heineman felt about last year. Like, remember, Miles Straw spent almost all of 2024 in the minors.
Yes.
He didn't know if he'd ever get a chance to play in the big leagues again. And now he had some full years in the big leagues before. He had more big league playoff time, service time, or playing time than Tyler Heineman had. But I think both of them, I don't know if grateful is the right word, but just so appreciative of the fact that they were given an opportunity and they did enough to run with it, and they stayed on the team the entire season, and both important guys in the fabric of that clubhouse as well.
No question. That's one of the things you heard early and often when talking to other players about Straw, was just how infectious his personality is.
Cowles with a swing and a miss.
And the energy he brought. A lot of times when you are in the big leagues for a long time and then you go down to the minor leagues for basically the whole year, I know the feeling to get back up there. Yes, you are grateful. You're excited, and you've got something to prove. He signed that deal with Cleveland, and it didn't really pan out the way he wanted, and he made a little bit of money, and so he could have just packed it in and said, I'm good. But he had some fire in the belly, and he wanted to go show something. And from the first get-go out at spring training last year, a year ago, he really showed some fire, and he earned the trust of manager John Schneider, and they just kept putting him in there and putting him in there. And I knew he was an amazing defender, and he showed it off quite often, but man, he became a huge piece to this puzzle.
That was the thing with Varsho missing so much time. When you threw Straw out there in center, you really didn't skip a beat defensively.
You did not lose anything, and that's hard to do considering how good Varsho is with the glove. But Straw, I mean, they're very similar in their reads and their effortlessness at how they're able to get to balls in the gap. Very impressive.
Two-strike pitch, tapped out to second, and Straw retired for out number 2. So 2 down. And the batter now for the Blue Jays is going to be Ismael Munguia, who came into the game a half inning ago in right field. He has come out of the minor league complex. Dalton Varsho is out of the game. Was last half inning. Munguia, 27 years of age. He is from Nicaragua. Another guy going to the World Baseball Classic. He will be playing for Nicaragua, and he has not played in the big leagues. He has been at it in the minor leagues for a while and spent last year with the Yankees AAA affiliate, where he hit .246. Stole 23 bases.
It's tremendous experience getting to go there and see how you stack up against major league pitchers, major league competition. I remember playing in the minor leagues for a long time, and you start to really compare yourself to that level, and to be able to play on that type of stage at the WBC, you can really kind of start to see where you figure in terms of the best of the best.
A check swing, tapper to third, and not the hardest ball he's hit, I'm sure, but he's got himself a base hit.
I think the Blue Jays were due for one after Aaron Judge had that kind of swing and bunt inning and a half or so ago. Sort of an excuse me, watch out. Left on left, tough AB. Looks like he might have been trying to get out of the way of the pitch towards the latter part of the length, and just one of those blocked pitches. He'll take the result, 100 out of 100.
So he's at first with 2 down, and here's Jesus Sanchez for the 3rd time. Sanchez had an RBI single in the first and was called out on strikes in the 3rd. Left-handed batter, the Yankees really play him to pull on the infield as he swings through a breaking ball. And this has been a weakness for Sanchez, is his ability to hit lefties. He does not figure to get a whole lot of at-bats against lefties, but you get one in the spring and you want to show your manager and your hitting coaches, hey, maybe give me a shot one time.
Why not?
I would imagine for most lefties who struggle with lefties, the difficulty is that down and away slider.
It is, and you know you're going to get it at some point, and if you have a left-handed pitcher that can run some sort of velocity anywhere near you, close to the body line, it makes that slider away look even more. That gets the front hip opening up, and then you're toast.
And there's another one, 1-2.
What makes Hedrick a little bit deceiving here too is his extension, and a lot of times when you have a tall lefty 6'6", 235 with that type of extension, it just speeds you up and it makes you want to release left on left. You want to release that hip. You don't trust it. These are tough ABs.
Munguia the lead, 2 balls, 2 strikes, the count on Sanchez. And a swing and a miss. Went to a fastball to get him. Strikes him out to end the inning. Through 5 in Dunedin, Yankees 7 and the Blue Jays 1. Where you were when George Springer hit that enormous 3-run homer in Game 7 of the ALCS on Friday, April the 10th. The first 15,000 fans will receive the Jumpin' George Springer bobblehead. Get your tickets and see more at bluejays.com/promotions. They are going to be lined up around the ballpark for that one. Top 6, 7-1 Yankees. And the new pitcher for the Blue Jays is right-hander Ryan Jennings. Springer, by the way, is expected to make his, if I'm not mistaken, make his spring training debut on Thursday here in Dunedin against the Marlins. 36 years old. They're kind of easing him into it a little bit. Kevin Gausman also will make his spring debut in that game Thursday afternoon. And you and I will be sitting right where we're sitting right now.
Love it.
Doing the ball game. High fly to center off the bat of Marco Luciano for out number 1.
No rush, especially when you play that deep into the season. The older you get, you know exactly what you need. And I can't express to you enough, when you play that deep into the playoffs, how short the offseason really is comparative to what you're used to. You're so used to being on a clock. Your body's on a clock, and the whole offseason feels all upside down.
Yorbeat Vivas pinch hitting, and he pops one up to short, so quickly 2 down as we go down to the field and check in with Hazel.
Dan, if there is a player who uses spring training to work on things, that's exactly what George Springer told me he does. He's never worried about results. He says every at-bat he goes up there and he's working and tinkering with something. You saw last spring statistically with the numbers. He had an awful spring, and then we saw what happened in that 2025 season, guys.
Yeah, they've got some guys like Springer, Kevin Gausman. Obviously, they've been at this a long time. They know what they need to do to get ramped up. But whenever you hear John Schneider talk about it, he always says things, Caleb, like in consultation with the player. Like it's a two-way street. Here's Kennedy Corona pinch hitting, ground ball to short, and that's a nice inning for Ryan Jennings as he makes quick work of the Yankees here in the top of the 6th. Bank Wednesday night hockey as Austin Matthews and the Maple Leafs take on the Lightning in an Atlantic Division tilt. Yep, they're back at it. Coverage starts Wednesday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on Sportsnet. Nice day, warming up a little bit. It'll be back to beautiful, nice and warm and sunny tomorrow. The Blue Jays are heading to Lakeland tomorrow to take on the Tigers. You can hear that game on the on sportsnet.ca, and then Caleb and I will be back with you Thursday for the Marlins and the Blue Jays. Kevin Gausman on the mound for the first time this spring. Bottom 6, 7-1 Yankees. Bradley Hanner, number 93, is the new pitcher for the Yankees. Davis Schneider, who's DHing today, will get a third and likely final at bat here this afternoon. Schneider's 1 for 2. Outside, a ball and a strike.
Yeah, Hanner last year spent the whole season in Columbus International League, affiliated with the Cleveland Guardians. Just under a 5 earned run average.
Schneider today has flied out and had a base hit. Don't know how much second base he will play this year. If Ernie Clement is getting the lion's share of the playing time there, but it looks like he figures into a platoon out in left field, getting the at-bats against lefties, although it's not as simple as just righty-lefty right now. It's
Correct.
more also, well, what kind of pitches does this pitcher throw? Where does he throw them? What's his velocity? And, you know, maybe one day Schneider's a better choice against a righty, and maybe another day a left-handed batter is a better choice against a lefty pitcher. That's just foul.
I'd say about halfway through the season, he started earning some right-on-right ABs, and he was incredibly productive right on left, and I think that just kind of opened their eyes a little bit. Let's open up the runway just a little bit more for him and see if we can really match him up. And it worked. And I love the fact that they know the players so well, they trust the players so much that they can work those matchups and put them in positions to succeed.
Up and in with a fastball that looked like it got him on the left arm, and hopefully that pad absorbed at least some of that.
It made a funny sound, and it sounded like it got the top of the pad. I mean, he's got some large biceps, and he can absorb something like that. Let's see if we can take a look. Yeah, right off the pad. That is best case scenario, because just underneath the shoulder blade, there are some really funny muscles in there that could really kind of tighten you up if you get hit up there.
And Schneider, okay, that's not why he's not coming out of the game because he was hit. He's coming out of the game. It was his third at bat, third plate appearance, and it's time to make way for some of the younger players. So Arjun Nimmala, first-round pick of the Blue Jays a couple of years ago, is pinch running. We'll talk about him more when he gets in at bat a little bit later on in the game. Here's Cutter Coffey, who has come into the game at second base. Coffey, 21 years of age, was a second-round pick of the Red Sox back in 2022 and was part of the return that the Blue Jays got in the Danny Jansen trade with the Red Sox at the deadline in 2024. Go ahead, Tim.
You see a little Bowden Francis in him? We got a doppelganger here? I mean, call me crazy, but he looks a little bit like Francis. No?
I'd have to see a big smile on his face because I've only ever seen Bowden Francis with a big smile on.
There you go.
Namala the lead, not going. And in on the hands. This one is popped up shallow right field. And going back is the second baseman to make the play. One down.
A lot of arm side run from Hanner. Such a good pitch when it comes out of the hand. You see it kind of more towards the outer half of the plate, and your brain says go, go, go. And by the time you get into that swing, it's in on your hands when you've got that much induced break moving across the plate.
Now Aaron Parker, who came on an inning ago as the catcher. He spent last year at High A Ball. Folks out in Vancouver familiar with Aaron Parker, the 6th round pick of the Blue Jays in 2024. And hit .233 with 8 homers with the Canadians last year. That's a pretty nasty breaking ball off the outside corner that Parker went after. 0-2.
So you get that type of arm side run, running inside to the righties, and then you can sweep it off of that. That is when hitting becomes super difficult. You see it and you think it's going to be coming back towards you, and it just takes a left turn.
0-2, and another swinging bunt. It's staying fair, and it will remain fair. A base hit for Parker.
So I'm going to tell you this, Dan, that play right there, that is the product of elite groundskeeping. Elite groundskeeping. When you have a ball that bounces just like this, it bounces in front of the plate, it's going to get onto the dirt, it's then going to roll, it's going to hit the grass, and it's not going to move foul. That is tight lines right there, ladies and gentlemen. Grounds crew here at TD Park, unbelievable job. 9 times out of 10, that ball will curve and go foul because there's too many large edges on a baseball field. That was impressive.
So 2 on with 2 outs. With 1 out, excuse me, here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And the batter was Carlos Mendoza. He got into the game yesterday, was at second base yesterday. And a couple of base hits, 2 for 2 in yesterday's game. A warning from the umpire that the pitcher can't come set until the hitter was in the box with his eyes on the mound. And a challenge.
The pitch was called a strike. The batter is challenging.
And
the call is overturned. The pitch is a ball. Toronto has 2 challenges remaining.
The call is overturned. 1/10 of an inch outside.
Unreal.
A successful challenge. This is an art.
It really is. And we talked to John Schneider before the game, and he said no matter what, whether you're coming in early, late, you're making an impression on us as a major league staff. And maybe it's challenging right there from Mendoza that shows, man, I got control of the zone with my eyes. That's the type of impression maybe you leave.
Ground ball right side, and it'll get under the glove of the first baseman Martinez and into right. and that'll cash in a run for the Blue Jays as Namala is in to score to make it 7-2.
And it's funny how that one pitch right before that just totally the count, taking it from 1-2 into a pitcher's count into a 2-1 count. And then you can kind of get a little bit more aggressive. You can get a little frisky with it, and he's a little bit out in front, but he's aggressive and threw the baseball and finds a hole.
So first and third with one out here is Charles McAdoo. At third base in the game yesterday. He's at first base today. Good swing. Drives this one to deep left center field, and it's going to be off the wall on a bounce. Parker is in to score. Mendoza right behind him. A ringing 2-run double to make it 7-4.
So many hitting coaches say be ready to hit when your name is called, and you've been sitting over there watching your other teammates get some ABs, and you've got your bat gloves on and you're ready. You're trying to think about what you're going to do. A lot of times you can have the best thought process, but you got to go out there and execute it. And I love the direction from McAdoo. What a great swing. Really pulls the Blue Jays within reach now.
7-4, and here's Josh Rivera. Who is now in the game at short for the Blue Jays. Two balls, no strikes. Rivera spent most of last year with AAA Buffalo, a little bit of time at AA. Between the two teams, hit .219, 7 homers. There's a strike. Rivera was one of the 2 players the Blue Jays got back in the Nate Pearson deal with the Cubs. And like every game that we do here, we see 4 or 5 guys who were part of the return when the Blue Jays traded so many guys because they weren't contenders in 2024. You never know if they're going to make it or not to the big leagues. There's a high throw and a stolen base attempt that sails into left, and McAdoo's going to race home. Stolen base E2, and it's 7-5.
Joe Maddon used to say pressure the defense as much as you can. If you feel like you've timed that pitcher up as a runner at second base, even though there's only 1 out, let it go. You could see he had timed him up, and that's a maybe 1 hold, 2 hold, 3 hold. You're counting their holds, and he was taking off. He pressured it, made the catcher rush a little bit, rewarded with the run, playing the next play.
So the bases are empty now. Still just 1 out in the inning. 4 runs in already. And now Rivera's popped it up between the Hanner takes charge, and by virtue of the fact that he's taller than the catcher, he made the catch.
You know, and I don't mind it. I've never understood why pitchers can't catch the baseball. Yes, we know we would probably prefer an infielder to catch the baseball, but it's never made sense to me why a third baseman or a first baseman are going to just try their best to get out there and get it when a pitcher could just put the glove up and catch. I mean, they're out there every day for BP. Or are they?
Some shag with a little bit more intensity than some are out there running around catching fly balls. Some are catching up with buddies, right?
I love it. Yeah. And they've earned that. As long as you come out throwing darts in the 8th inning at 98, you can go out there and chat during BP.
Here's Yohendrick Pinango getting his first at bat of the afternoon. Talked about him a fair bit yesterday. Big bat speed, big power guy. Can he smooth out some of the rough edges? But there's potential here. Pinango, the other guy who came over in the deal for Nate Pearson. Josh Rivera and Pinango. Pinango hit .258, 15 homers between AA and AAA last year in the Blue Jays system.
And a lot of times power is kind of that last attribute to be developed. And so when you see flashes of power earlier on in a player's career, it just gives you so much hope that you can get those edges, like you said, rounded out quite a bit. You've kind of got the hardest piece of the puzzle to develop, which is power. And so that's why these players are so intriguing when they show flashes of 15, 20 homers in the minor leagues. You're thinking, wow, there could be something here.
He'll take a walk as well. Drew 70 of them last year. Fouled it off, 3-2.
And that's the golden star, is a guy with power that also can draw walks. Now you're thinking, him to Aaron Judge material whatsoever, but just the on base to power or damage ratio, it becomes incredibly intriguing for front offices.
And ball 4 as the inning continues. Been a long inning out there for Bradley Hanner, and he is not going to be able to finish it. Aaron Boone is on his way to the mound, and he'll make a change with 2 outs here, bottom 6. Back here in Dunedin, a 7-5 lead for the Yankees over the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays with 4 runs across and still batting here in the bottom of the 6th as the Yankees have made a pitching change. Right-hander Kervin Castro, 27 years of age, is on the mound. He's been in the big leagues, goes back a few years with the Giants and Cubs back in 21 and 22. And Ismael Munguia gets his second at bat, a young outfielder who had an infield hit his first time up.
A 4-seam curve cutter for Castro. Pretty over the top type of motion. You're going to see that arm really over the top. He's got pretty good extension, so that 93, 94 you might see on the radar gun is going to play up about 95, 96.
And drills in a ball for a strike to even it up. Not close. Ball 2.
I think that's what I love about the way that we're able to measure so many different things in baseball now is, well, you might not be 6'6", but if you have great extension, you can still possibly pitch at the top of the zone if you hit certain metrics.
Ground ball left side, and Vivas, the third baseman, the short flip to the bag at second to force the lead runner and end the inning after the Blue Jays get 4. Returns with a special opening day on Sunday, March 29th. There will be interactive games, artists, live performers, prizes, and more. And don't forget, after the game, kids can run the bases just like their favorite Blue Jays. Visit bluejays.com/promotions. Pitcher number 6 on the afternoon for the Blue Jays is right-hander Tanner Andrews, who starts Ernesto Martinez Jr. with a ball 1. Andrews is 30 years of age, originally drafted by the Marlins, and spent last year both in independent ball and at AA in the Twins system. He's gotten as high as AAA for a couple of years with the Giants a little bit further back.
Staten Island, 2008. I was in the New York Penn League and played at that stadium that overlooked the city, and I thought I was in the big leagues.
Really?
I went straight from college to A-ball, and going to that stadium in Staten Island was unreal.
Swung on and missed. Good change up there from Andrews to get one down.
My view from the catcher was looking obviously out towards center field, and there was, I guess, a river. I should know the river. Just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's a very competitive league, that independent league. See, that looks like a split finger down underneath. That seems to be the pitch, Dan. It seems to be the pitch that is going to take off. I would predict a bunch of those in 2026.
I think the Blue Jays threw more splitters than any team in baseball last year. Kevin Gausman obviously is a big part of that. Now you got Trey Savage, who throws a splitter as well. Catcher Miguel Palma is the batter now against Andrews. What's the nicest minor league stadium you played in?
Wow. Well, I played the very first game in Charlotte when it opened up. That was beautiful. Just the views right into downtown Charlotte. That was something. I thought Myrtle Beach was a ton of fun as a high A player. Double A, not the nicest, but the most fun experience was probably in Richmond. They were the Flying Squirrels. And so they had all of the hilarious sayings, and they had, you know, squirrels flying all over the place, you know, with like the cape, you know, things. And that was a ton of fun.
If you've got kids who are baseball fans, a minor league trip is about the most fun.
Oh, it's just the access, the promotions, all of the different things that you get to do around the park.
2-2. Down and in, full count.
And you don't feel bad spending $12 on a ticket and your kids spend 80% of the game throwing at the radar gun, you know, not even watching the game.
You know what? The ice cream tastes great. The French fries are great.
Love it.
Stuff for kids. Get close to the players. This is popped up a mile high on the infield. And McAdoo drops it. McAdoo and Coffey were both there. McAdoo was the one who tried to catch it, and it just bounced off his glove.
Yeah, he was under it, and he had a beat on it, and it's not like the wind is blowing 20 or 30 miles per hour, but it's one of those fly balls that's right underneath the sun, and he's got a beat on it, and at the very last minute just loses his footing. It almost looks like it goes through his glove. That's how odd it looked to us up here.
And it's interesting because Coffey was more underneath it, and maybe the wind just took it in the last couple of seconds to the right. But I mean, second baseman has priority over a first baseman if he calls it off, right?
And you have all these rules that you try and abide by to keep structure on the baseball field. But at the same time, there's trust involved. And if you hear a guy that's emphatically calling for it, what you don't want to do is create confusion by, well, it's in my zone, and so I should now catch it. But if you want it, I trust you to catch it. And it's just one of those instances where McAdoo just didn't catch it. But yes, you're exactly right. That's Coffey's ball for sure, by the book, so to speak.
Bounced in. You know, McAdoo has played more third base than first base. Third base, any ball on the ground is his. Like, if he can get to it in front of the shortstop, but a pop-up, the shortstop has priority over him. Like you said, there are all kinds of unwritten rules here.
That's a tremendous point. That was the biggest adjustment I found going from third base to first base.
Bouncer right side. Coffey will get the lead runner. That's all. Fielder's choice. 2 down.
Was how much room do you have going to make a play as a defender? We saw this a couple times last year with the Blue Jays. I can't remember who, maybe it might have been where the first baseman, whoever it was for the Blue Jays, maybe went a little bit too far, and it put maybe Jimenez at second base in a weird position, throw into a pitcher on the run. Those are things that experiences teach you.
And those are things spring training teach you. You learn about those things in spring training.
Because I guarantee you, the second that McAdoo went to pick that ball back up, he realized exactly where he was on the field. Like, oh man, I'm
way over there.
Yeah. But I love the commitment. I love the fact that he wanted it, and it was obvious. I mean, nobody tried to get in his way, and I love that type of commitment.
John Schneider's talked a lot about how they evaluate young players. Obviously, you want to see, you know, good contact, a pitcher throwing strikes, that sort of thing. But John Schneider will talk over and over again about, did you throw to the right base? Did you make the right mental play in terms of what you did in the field? Did you run the bases in a smart fashion? Then lined and caught, outed short by Rivera, and that will retire the Yankees. 7th inning stretch here in Dunedin. sheet because I know how much Hazel and Shai are both looking forward to that. And we'll see how Team Canada does. Josh Naylor is going to be on the team. Adam Mako is going to be on the team. Owen Casey, Otto Lopez, Edouard Julien, Abraham Toro, Cal Quantrill.
Hey, there's some names.
Yeah.
There's some names.
Jamison Taillon.
Yes.
Tyler O'Neill will be out in the outfield. James Paxton is pitching for So we'll see if they can find their way out of the first round as Rafael Antigua pops it up to short for the first down. WBC is always a great scene. So one down, and here's Arjun Nimmala. We talked about him a little bit earlier. First round pick of the Blue Jays in 2023 out of Strawberry Crest High School in Dover, Florida, the 20th overall pick. He spent last year as with Vancouver, and at 19 years of age, one of the very youngest players in High A. Also in a pitcher's park in a pitcher's league. He got off to a great start, and then it kind of went south on him in the second half of the year. He finished at .224, 29 doubles, 13 homers, 17 steals. I had a chance to talk to him a couple of days ago, and he said one of the most important things for him is whether the last at bat went great or went poorly, it's over. You have to move on. You just look at each individual matchup, each individual moment as kind of its own thing. You don't let, you don't get into a tailspin and let it swallow you up. And I've heard 30-year-olds talk about that. So if he's working on that at 20, that will serve him well.
I had to learn that at 24, 25, and I was not a top prospect, and there were not any eyes on me. And I cannot imagine being that age with this type of, I'm not going to say pressure, but first round pick. A lot of people expect a lot of things out of you. I'm sure he expects a lot from himself, but being able to learn how to deal with failure, because I guarantee you he hadn't dealt with failure before.
Right.
He'd been the best player on every team he played on. And to learn that quickly and as early as you can in your career, it just bodes well for longevity. And that is what this game is about. It's about failure and who handles failure the best and how can they shorten those windows up. And if he's learning that, he could be in Toronto before you know it.
The power is real. Nobody disputes that. When he gets a hold of it, it goes a mile. And the catcher is challenging this one.
The catcher is challenging.
It was called high for ball 3.
The call is confirmed. The pitch is a ball. New York is out of challenges.
The Yankees finally have lost that second challenge. I think they wind up 6-2 on the day or something like that. But I mean, that one was 2-3 inches above.
Sure.
So full count on Nimmala. And he draws a walk.
Yeah, it seemed like Nimmala was constantly on my Twitter feed doing something big, whether it was a homer or a double, and the athleticism is real, and got to see him in action last spring in that kind of developmental game that they had last year, and it was fun to watch his movements. Very lanky, wiry. You could tell that there's a lot to like there.
He told me he's 15 pounds heavier than he was a couple of years ago, and even when he was lanky and wiry, he has tremendous power, but he's gotten stronger. And it sounds like he'll stick at shortstop. So many guys get drafted at short, but then they move to third or second or right or whatever. But it sounds like, at least for now, he will continue to play at short. I would imagine he goes back to Vancouver to at least start the season because it didn't end well. Again, he's only 20 years old.
Sure. Yeah, you want to be a shortstop as long as you can, and I think that's what executives would love. It's really, really hard to find a really good defender that can produce with the bat at an elite level.
There he goes. And a ground ball up the middle, under one glove. And oh, what a play made on both ends by Shoemake at short and Martinez at first to get coffee.
Wow. What a play all around. We got action on the bases with Nimmala. Almost made a play in the infield. Then we get a backhand play. We got an unbelievable stretch at first base by Martinez. He went into full splits. Wow.
So 2 down. Namala to second on the play, and here's Aaron Parker up for the second time, the catcher now for the Blue Jays. 7-5 Yankees, bottom 7 here at TD Ballpark. Fastball in 2-0. '50th season for the Blue Jays, and the 50th season that their spring training home is right here in Dunedin.
Really?
Oh yeah, right from day one. Right from day one.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's not normal. That can't be normal. I mean, so many teams have bounced around here and there, and that's impressive.
Kind of fun.
And they've done such a great job upgrading this facility, and the attendance is amazing. It's a fun place to come and watch a ball game during spring training.
He just broke another one. And the ballpark, it has changed. A lot of renovations a few years ago. The town hasn't changed much at all. It's quaint and quiet and a little sleepy and just an absolute joy to be around. You walk around on Main Street, get a slice of pizza, get some ice cream, take the kids to the playgrounds. It's a lot different than having your spring training facility in a larger city like a Fort Myers.
Yeah, or Tampa, right?
Like yeah, or Tampa. Popped up. The second baseman, Caden Kent, will make the catch to end the inning. Through 7 here in Dunedin. Great things to do in and around the area. And again, bringing the kids to the ballpark, you can always find fun here in Florida. Well, you remember the story about Addison Barger sleeping on, was it Miles Straw or Davis Schneider's couch? I think it was in October. And then, of course, he hit a grand slam of the World Series. Addison Barger certainly had a memorable postseason. Be one of the first 15,000 fans of the ballpark. Saturday, April 11th, you'll receive an Addison Barger couch T-shirt.
Awesome.
Things you never thought you'd say on TV. Get your tickets at bluejays.com/promotions. I think it was Davis Schneider's couch. That became, you know, one of the many kind of feel-good fun stories about this group off the field, how tight of a group they were. And you know, they all had, and Tyler Heineman talked about it with us today, so many different personalities, but somehow it all came together. And I think you feel this way as well. Just me from the outside looking in, I have not covered a team where everybody was as close as last year's team was.
Every team's going to say that, Dan, but not every team truly has it. And they had it, whatever the it factor was.
This one high and deep to left field, and it's gone. Nate Garko into the game for the Blue Jays, and Jace Avina just hit a home run to left field to make it 8-5.
A towering fly ball to left field. Looked like off the bat it might be hooking foul just a little bit, but it straightened out. And when a ball straightens out like that, it tells me that their direction to it was perfect. You can see the pitch right here just gets underneath it, and that, folks, is the epitome of a launch type of swing. You could see his back shoulder get under the baseball, really try and drive it, and he didn't miss it.
Now Jackson Castillo, who is in the game in right for the Yankees. Nate Garko on the mound for the Blue Jays is a guy who spent a couple of years in independent ball. He did not get drafted out of college, and at 24, 25 years of age, he was pitching in independent ball, and then the Blue Jays signed him, and he wound up at Double-A last year with a 1.22 ERA in 29 relief appearances, struck out 54 guys in 37 innings. And you never know, not everybody, you know, gets where they want to get on the same timeline. Maybe you discover a new grip, a new pitch, something like that, and it can kind of change the course of your career.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That's what technology and a lot of the data shows now, is sometimes you can figure things out later on. That wasn't the case 10, 15 years ago. You just tried to do your best with what you had. But this plus changeup could be something.
Castillo lifts a fly ball to right. And Pinango is there to make the catch for the first out. And even that, you can see, we've said it before, there's no such thing as a routine fly ball here in Florida for whatever reason during spring training.
Well, you've got the wind, and you've just got all these different factors in terms of the sun. In Arizona, it's more of the high sky where you're trying to battle depth perception. But for whatever reason, Florida, it can make the best outfielders out there look silly at times, and especially the higher it goes. The higher it goes, it just feels like that ball dances up there. And man, I thought Davis Schneider made 2 unbelievable reads in yesterday's game, and we saw Miles Straw get a couple reads lately, but you've got to really be on your game during spring training because of these different factors. Day game, the way the ball travels, the wind, and it's constantly shifting. That's the one thing about Dunedin that I've noticed after spending many years in Sarasota is, for whatever reason, the wind is always shifting around here. Typically in Sarasota, you had it one direction, and that's just what you needed to know.
0-2 to Edinson Duran, who has come on as a pinch hitter here for the Yankees. He is a 23-year-old catcher who last season spent a little bit of time with the Yankees AAA affiliate. I wonder if some people wonder about the helmets, but in the minors, everybody gets a 2-flap helmet, right? That's the way it is.
That is when you know you have made it. Is when you get to Major League spring training and you go into the clubhouse attendant and you grab your 1-ear flap helmet. That I have arrived.
Fouled back over us.
And it's a big deal. Like
sure.
we kind of joke about it, but I'm telling you, I've still got my very first Major League 1-ear flap helmet at my house. That was just that was a sign. It was a tangible sign that I'm at Major League spring training camp.
Swing and a miss, and that is the changeup from Garco as he gets Duran 2 down.
And we've seen a changeup work for the Toronto Blue Jays, what, a couple of years ago in Trevor Richards, a plus type of gyro changeup. You're going to see it right here. Just pulls the string. Looks like a very simple circle change, but you can tell hitter's way out in front, and that pitch is just losing velocity with just enough depth on it to create and induce some whiff.
And the second warning on Garco for coming set too soon before the hitter was in the box and looking out at him. So the first one's just a warning. The second one, they put a ball on the count. So it is 1-0 now on Yorbit Vivas. And you can see even 1-0, he'll throw the changeup behind in the count. It's a huge pitch for him.
It looks a lot like Trevor Richards to me. Just the arm angle, the way that it kind of comes out, the way it looks as it's approaching the plate.
Heading back towards the seats behind home plate.
You ever caught a foul ball?
I've dropped a foul. So the answer is no.
But I guess to your defense, most of your chances probably have come inside a booth.
No, actually, I don't think I've ever got one in a booth. The one I'm thinking of is at Exhibition Stadium. And I know when it was because it was my dad's 50th birthday party.
Wow.
All the cousins were there. And Tony Fernandez was hitting, switch hitter batting from the left side. We were down the left field line, and he sliced one foul down the line. Hit me right in the hands. never had a chance.
Well, at least you touched it.
Never. My cousin Steven had it for like 40 years. Take a look at the upcoming pitching plans for the Blue Jays this week. Tomorrow, the Blue Jays will be in Lakeland to take on the Tigers. Cody Ponce will make his spring training Blue Jay debut. Kevin Gausman will get his first start Thursday here against the Marlins. We'll have that game for you here on Sportsnet. Eric Lauer back at it Friday against the Rays, and then a split squad day Saturday. Dylan Cease will start here against the Phillies. Jose Barrios will start in Tampa against the Yankees. There will be a lot of anticipation. Cody Ponce being new, Dylan Cease being new, to see those guys out there as Blue Jays.
Yeah, I'm pumped to see Cease. And of course, Ponce, I mean, they're both very intriguing. It's been so amazing to watch these pitchers not have success and then go overseas and come back and have a ton of success, and what they've kind of reinvented themselves into, and I'm pumped to see Ponce. And of course, Cease, I think, is just a huge shot in the arm. He's going to bring an element that is going to be really fun for Blue Jays fans.
Carlos Mendoza getting his second at bat of the game, an RBI single his first time up. So the name you don't see on that list is that of Trey Yesavage. And John Schneider was asked a lot of questions about Yesavage today. Everything is fine. There's nothing to worry about. And Yesavage, for the second day in a row, is in the ballpark watching the game today. And John Schneider said, listen, he's really young, and he had a pretty big jump in innings last year. And he said it's just not, hey, let's give him 32 starts and 200 innings and wind him up and let him go. He's too important. He's too good. He's too young, you know, for them to just do that. So Schneider used the word maneuver. He said, you know, we could maneuver the plans, the rotation a little bit here and there. And whether that means right at the beginning of the season or around some off days or around the All-Star break, they will take some opportunities when they can, as that ball is held onto. So Mendoza is out. So I don't know if it's been determined 100% one way or another. Does he get a start first time through, or, you know, are they just kind of slow playing it with him a little bit and just monitoring the innings early in the season and maybe saving more of them for later in the season to a certain extent?
I love it. I love it, being responsible with a highly touted asset, and it's so easy to want to throw him back into it. That's the desire, I'm sure, naturally, is just, man, he's so good, get him out there. But they're seeing a long-term plan with him, and that's a lot. That's a huge jump, and you can't undersell how much of a jump that is for a young player, and especially in the position he was in the playoffs, the biggest stage of all, and that adrenaline wears on you. And so I'm glad they're doing that with him. It's for the best interest of not only him but the team as well.
And a swing and a miss by McAdoo. 2 down as we go back down to field level. And Hazel.
Dan, I asked John Schneider what he's looking forward to as far as Cody Ponce's Blue Jays spring debut, and he said, I want to see that famous kick change with a different ball and things of that nature, and the fastball command. So John Schneider really looking forward to Ponce's start there in Lakeland. As for Ponce, he told me he's always in compete mode, but he's super excited, and he hopes he gets the quote-unquote shaky legs, because that means I'm doing the right thing and I still love the game that I get to play. Guys,
everybody looking forward to seeing him. It'll be in Lakeland tomorrow against the Tigers. Another pitching change for Aaron Boone here with 2 down in the bottom of the 8th. The Yankees right-hander Carson Coleman is into the game here, with the Yankees leading the Blue Jays 8-5 in the bottom of the 8th. You see his numbers in the minors last year with the Yankees. He pitched at 4 different levels, from rookie ball up to Double-A. It looked like he may have been rehabbing from an injury, because just a few at each spot, but put up some very good numbers in 17 appearances, as you can see. Originally a 33rd round pick of the Rays out of the University of Kentucky. Batter for the Blue Jays is Josh Rivera. As again, we'd like to welcome those of you watching on the Gotham Sports app. That's on the Yankee side of things, the Yankees streaming service through their television network at Yes. So we know we've got folks who follow the Yankees watching here this afternoon, and they got a chance to see not a full opening day lineup, but pretty close.
Pretty close. Yeah. And we're thankful.
Makes the job a little bit easier with the visiting team.
It's nice to see what they look like too. I mean, I want to see how Judge is swinging it, how Wells and Goldschmidt, and like it's fun to be able to see where they're at, because sometimes you get stuck in kind of where the Blue Jays are at, and it's going to be a battle. I guarantee you that team over there, they're not in pinstripes now, but they will be soon. I guarantee you they're not happy about how the way last year ended for them, and I think Tyler had one of the best lines. Raising a banner, then also raises a bullseye on your back. I love that, and it's so true, and there are going to be a lot of teams out for the Blue Jays this year.
Yep, said George Springer gave him that line. There's a breaking ball for strike 3 called to get Rivera and end the inning. Toronto Blue Jays baseball presented by Home Hardware, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Now is the time to plan your regular season lineup with a flex pack. Build your 10-game flex pack and unlock access to opening night presented by TD, where all fans will receive an AL Champions pennant. Visit BlueJays.com/flexpacks to build your pack today. Garco back on the mound for the Blue Jays as this game goes to the top of the 9th inning. It's the Yankees 8 and the Blue Jays 5. First pitch swinging a foul back by Kennedy Corona leading off the 9th for the Yankees. One change for the Blue Jays. Now in center field, this young man's name is Jake Casey, and he is the son of Sean Casey, who had a terrific big league career, was known as the Mayor because he chatted up everybody. He played first base, and that was exactly the right spot for him. I have yet to bump into or meet Jake, but hoping to. Sean is as good a guy, nice a guy as you will meet. Jake Casey was drafted by the Blue Jays last year and got some time after that in Dunedin, so right here in this ballpark with the A-level Blue Jays, and performed very well. He appeared in 23 games, hit .281, hit 3 homers, had a couple of triples and 4 steals. So I know he's faster than the old man, because the old man wasn't doing that.
Yes, he was trotting around those bases.
Yeah.
Oh, he had such a unique kind of stepping into the box where he kind of dig that left foot in, and then he kind of raise that right foot, almost like a leg kick, and then kind of step into it. I remember as a kid having the wiffle ball bat and imitating certain batting stances, and Sean Casey was definitely one of them. I'm sure he's so proud. Might be tuning in right now.
He is very proud. I was texting with him earlier today about it. Ground ball to second for out number 1. Sean Casey spent some years with Cleveland, so he goes years back with Mark Shapiro, Ross Atkins, knows many people in the front office, so I'm sure he was excited when Jake was drafted by the Blue Jays. 15th round pick out of Kent State University a season ago. Sean Casey was a lifetime .302 hitter.
Wow.
I mean, those guys don't grow on trees.
No, lifetime.
Yep, lifetime. 3-time All-Star. He could close his eyes and hit a line drive to left. Not a big power guy, but he could hit line drives all over.
And those guys were so hard to pitch against. And I obviously didn't play against Casey, but just some of those real pesky hitters, especially left-handed. The lefties that would go to the opposite field, they felt impossible at times to get out.
Ernesto Martinez Jr., the batter for the Yankees. 1-2 the count on him.
You know, for that exact reason, we were talking earlier in the game with, who was it?
Tyler Heineman?
No, it wasn't Heineman. Oh, Sanchez.
About
Sanchez.
Oh, about Sanchez.
Yes.
Yeah.
The left-on-left matchup.
Yes.
If you get that front hip to pull and open up, that's when you know you've got him, kind of with that down the way. But guys like Sean Casey, they wouldn't release that hip, and so you knew they could go to the opposite field, and then you sort of felt boxed in. It felt like the roles reversed really quickly.
Sean Casey is watching.
Love it.
Didn't seem to mind that we questioned his foot speed one bit.
That's good. Well, he's laughing, going, and imagine how high of an average I would have hit for if I could really blaze.
But right now he's in full dad mode. Right? He's watching his son, who played in A-ball last year, get a shot in the spring training major league game. And can he get to this one? He cannot. It'll drop in front of him in right center field.
And even after playing so many years in the big leagues, I'm sure he's more nervous than his son right now playing.
Oh, sure. And I don't know if Sean is on the box score online or knows when his son is due up, but his son's coming up second in the bottom of the 9th. He's going to get an AB today.
Love it.
So don't tune away, Sean. Here's a pop-up by Miguel Palma. Caught out at short for out number 2.
Garco continuing to kind of induce weak contact. Yes, gave up a hit there to Martinez, but it's that push-pull of a fastball and a changeup that can really throw hitters off. You don't necessarily need east-west. If you can really push and pull hitters, you can still be very effective.
It's a great point you make, because people talk about north-south and east-west, but push-pull
love it
is another way. It's a three-dimensional playing field out there, three-dimensional area above the plate, and that can be even more difficult for hitters. Jammed him. Ground ball to second. Ooh. Bud has time to make the play. Coffey recovers to get the out on Shoemake, and it is on to the bottom of the ninth. Heats up as New York Golf Club kicks off a doubleheader against the Bay Golf Club today at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific on Sportsnet. And then tonight, New York is back on the tee against Boston Common Golf at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Glad you're with us as we bring you this ball game here from TD Ballpark. The Blue Jays 5. And Yohendrick Pinyango is up for the second time. He walked back in the 6th. Jake Casey on deck, and then Rafael Antigua up high with a fastball for ball 1. Carson Coleman's second inning of work out of the bullpen for the Yankees. Outside, ball 3. And a strike, 3-1. Check swing, peel to third, didn't go, ball 4.
So you said the Blue Jays have been here for 50 seasons.
Yes.
My very first spring training game in the Major League camp was at this park. It looked a lot different. I was in left field. I was catching hits, and I was so nervous, ready to get into that game. 8th inning comes around. They whistle down, "Joseph, come in. Joseph, come in." And I'm taking off my gear. I'm so excited. I get down there. Bench coach says, "Hey, Joseph, I need you to make sure that you don't forget the bullpen balls at the end of the game."
Oh, no.
I thought I was going into the game. I had full metal jacket on. I had batting gloves. I thought I was going to get an AB, and
I mean, pulled the rug right out from under you. Here's Jake Casey. He hits it out. The young man who played at A-ball last year with his dad, Sean, watching on TV right now, got a hold of one and hits it out to right field. How about that?
Love it. Good for you, young man.
That's
what a
amazing.
beautiful swing,
Yeah.
too. Pretty. Perfect launch. Gets a hold of a mistake. Good balance. Must have had a good teacher growing up.
Yeah, his dad could swing the bat, and
look at that.
Yeah, his dad is bouncing off the walls in the TV room at home right now. That's a good swing.
He knew it. Watch this. Yeah. Loves it.
Now a liner in the left will get down for Rafael Antigua. And the Blue Jays have the tying run aboard. I mean, that is just so cool. So I can't wait to talk about John Schneider about this tomorrow. Like, he had already replaced everybody in the field, but he obviously purposely put Casey into the game to get an inning and to get an at bat. And talk about a payoff. Holy cow.
That takes feel from the manager, right? Even it being engaged in the game at this point, knowing you've sat here this whole time. Let's try and get him an inning and an AB. Good for everyone all around.
Again, a 15th round pick. Now a college guy, there goes the runner, And there's no throw. A college guy, so you expect a college player when he goes to A-ball to have some success, right? Sure. Because he's a little bit older. But as a senior at Kent State, he hit .356 with 17 homers in 208 at-bats. That's pop.
That is pop.
And then he got to Dunedin last year, 23 games, 281. A couple of triples, 3 homers, stole a few bases. He's interesting. I mean, he's not going to be in the big leagues next week, but he's got to keep an eye on.
Well, that was beautiful. Yeah. It was pretty. It looked a little bit like Mike Yastrzemski to me, the way he finished, and he's had a great career. You just never know. I mean, sometimes guys figure it out, and all you need is a shot. All you need is a chance, and if you have a jersey on your back, you've got a chance.
Looks like a ball player, don't he?
Oh, he looks the part for sure.
And a swing and a miss here by Arjun Namala, who walked his first time up, strikes out here, 1 down. Now Cutter Coffee 0 for 2. I don't know where that, I didn't see where that baseball wound up. And yeah, it's not a big league game. But it's a spring training big league game. And I hope somebody gets that baseball for him.
I would want the ball for sure.
Ball and a strike on Coffee.
Oh, he's got to be so pumped right now. He's probably on cloud 9. Has no idea where he's at. He was pumped running around the bases. It's just so fun to watch players have that type of joy.
Chopper to short. And Coffee is thrown after the second out as Lantigua comes to third. Let's take one more look. Again, this is his first at bat in a big league environment, spring training game, but he just got drafted last year and he got all of it.
Oh, just such a pretty swing. The balance. Go in the bullpen. Oh, it's over the netting. Somebody's got to get that.
Fired up.
Yes.
And deservedly so. Edward Duran is now getting his first at bat, so he's the third catcher of the game. Brandon Valenzuela started. Aaron Parker now. Duran with the tying run at third and 2 outs in the 9th inning. And the folks both here in Dunedin and in Vancouver saw Duran last year. He split his season between A-ball and high A. Now the ground ball to short. And that is the ball game. As the Blue Jays get the tying run to third in the 9th inning, but cannot tie it or win it. And here at TD Ballpark today, the Yankees beat them 8-7.
Yeah, I think the 2 takeaways I'm taking from this game, watching Dalton Varsho in the first inning kind of leg out that triple, beautiful swing, line drive to the left center field gap. If he can use the whole field, he's going to really set himself up for a huge year. And second point is Yankees came out swinging. Granted, it wasn't against Bieber, it wasn't against Gausman, but they came out swinging, and I've got a feeling they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, especially against the Blue Jays, because they didn't like how last year turned out. Blue Jays are going to have to be ready, but I think they will, considering how much their manager is really on them.
The Blue Jays will hit the road tomorrow. You can hear that game on sportsnet.ca as they go to Lakeland to take on the Tigers. Caleb and I will be back with you Thursday. Kevin Gausman and George Springer both scheduled to make their spring debuts as the Marlins come here to Dunedin. We look forward to bringing you that game a couple of days from now.